turnaround and the biggest test. Aang to get back in the saddle. And for Fnatic, the comp he's cooked up seems to have a lot of benefits when it comes to the defensive side, especially on a map that already looks quite hard to attack on.
Well, yeah, I think we know that about Aang in general. His defensive side setups have always been very good, even going back to the Gambit days, but the attack sometimes goes amiss. Already, though, seeing some of that battle for middle. It was talked about a lot when this map was released, that having control on at least one side of the map is going to be important, and Althea looks to try and roam that in terror. I'm excited to see how the buttons are going to be utilized as well. We know how important sectioning off some of those angles is going to be, but Alpha is not shying away from the fight just yet. And in fact, it's going to be Crashies that meets Sugetsu.
And they're expecting this re-aggression around mid. Important to take this control, but more importantly, they heard Alpha here take a step. So, coming back with force to clear it out. And now, big advantages stacking in favor of KC. The doors close on B and towards middle. This is going to be a straight-up blitz to the B site. Reinforcements harder to get there. And it's going to be on Cloud, the Battle Sage. He's delivered so many times already in the game that we saw him play for this banner. Now, he's slipped the net, he's made it past, and he's whiffed every shot. It looks like KC are a shoo-in to take this across the line. Alpha will try his best to recover.
That's now left all onto Boaster. The wraparound will gift him one, but that is all she wrote for the pistol. And I'll be honest, from the way the pistol round started with like very heavy B main control coming out from KC, I was sat there going like, oh, are they not going to play this how I thought they would? Like really battling for that middle control, especially having the ability to section off so many angles with that Viper, and of course with Dossier on the harbor. But they double back. They take the control early, they leave a player in, and then they rotate back into that mid presence. And you can see how much ground you can get splitting to either side of the map. I feel like it's going to be such an important, imperative part, because getting into either site through the tight main choke, it feels like a death sentence.
No, straight towards the B site for KC. This is one of the more dangerous rounds. Sorry, one of the maps where this round is most dangerous, I'd imagine. So many corners and crevices for you to tuck on into on either site. And with these low-buy weapons, a classic. In fact, it's all classics. It's a full eco round coming out of Fnatic with only utility bot. Their chances of success are very low. But KC want to make sure that they lower them even more. Playing a fake, containing the other side of the map, and going back late. That slow is going to cause problems, though, and I'm not sure Kayak's going to... Or sorry, Levin's going to get out of there, and indeed he won't. Taken down by the classics. This is already getting a little dangerous.
Yeah, the fact the Headhunter, and look, all those angles just not quite being cleared properly. The deep control from Kayak has caused them issues already. And sure, the remaining couple of players both have rifles. It gives them the best chance to turn this back around, but the numbers firmly in Fnatic's favor.
This should be locked down, you'd imagine. A round that seemed to be KC's gifted, but instead it's a battle that they never expected to take here. Fnatic 1-1. And hell, you know, we said it, it's difficult to attack on this map, and Eco presents a lot of danger, but I loved what Fnatic did here. Cloud slows made this impossible for Kayak to do what they were, sorry, Levin, I keep making that mistake. It made it impossible for Levin to do what they were trying to do. Get in, sell that fake, and get out. Well, with two slows down, there is no get out, and they immediately crunch on him. Frustration on one side of the stage.
Round two, bro, come on.
But I think for him, for both of these coaches, such an emotional investment. Yeah, they're going to be friends after the game, but during it, they're going to hate each other.
Maybe even for an hour or so after the game. We'll have to wait and see. 1-1. Fnatic with a huge upset round now get the chance to do the same. I do think, especially in early days of a map, especially first officials, I think the splitting up and looking for clues technique has a lot more risk. Because people are going to be able to get away with way more cheekier, riskier plays, even if you may not have seen them so much in the scrims. I think that's where KC have truly fallen victim. I will say, just on an agent basis, I'm so excited for both chambers. Narrate's been fantastic. Well, there you go. Didn't even get to finish the sentence before Boaster's head is ripped off. And I don't think I need to tell you about how good Althea can be.
We saw it in the last round. For KC, a chance to bite back thanks to Narrate. He's in the right place to take a few more. The Headhunter, the best chance that they have. And he'll go down after just the two, but just the two in an eco round's not as good as it usually gets. Cloud trying to contain, It's that little heal. He'll be back up to 100 in just a moment. Slow down behind as well, so no support for Levin as he falls. And Cloud is working his way towards the ult. There it is. Found one way or another at a price that I think Fnatic will be more than happy to pay. This should have been a 2-0 start with contention in this round, and instead, Fnatic have the leg up and a res coming into the next.
Yeah, I think one of the good things in this scenario is firstly the res, but also because you won an eco round, you might look at this normally if this was your like second round conversion and go, oh, this was a lot of damage, but economically, Fnatic have already built up quite a few credits. Now they have a res to come into the next round with. Another solid showing in a round from Cloud as well, who, as we sort of mentioned, had a great first week with Fnatic. Obviously only playing the one game in comparison to the two that were won by KC, and well, an early blitz, an early battle with an aggressive stance from Alfie, but that's the value of having that chamber. He's able to escape.
That's exactly it. You see him go so much more aggressive even as the util's thrown his way. And then he's not only able to escape, able to get healed up as well by Cloud. Rez still in the back pocket for Fnatic. We don't want to see too many overextensions if you're going to pull that into play, but with the mid door down, Cloud doesn't have much to do. He's chosen to go and join the crew towards the B site, and it looks like he's made the right call. It certainly looks that way to him. He heard the Prowler just seconds ago go right past, and yet the flock has flown in a different direction. It's the A side under threat, as Kayak's about to find out.
He's going to move the second the wall breaks. That was why he was on that side. He knew they were locked in for the moment, but now looks to join his teammate just around the corner.
It's a double thing?
The fact is, though, yeah, it feels like KC are more than happy to try and play with this middle control. I like the trap positioning, though. If anybody walks into that, if any steps are heard, it gives alarm bells over to Crashies. But yeah, it seems like they're going to go back, and go back again. But they're still walking right into the arms of Kayak, who's ready and waiting, but only one.
And Narrate as well have been waiting the entire round for someone on Fnatic to get aggressive, to push towards the spawn. The very thing that's happening now for Crashies, but it's way too late. This big fake from KC didn't seem to have worked out, but now they've got themselves the site. The res is possible here for Cloud, though. And the flank, indeed, if they can draw the eye with that res, it could be the round.
Res up.
It's free.
No opportunity to really deal damage without a massive risk, but also holding on to that Reckoning. Timing is going to be important, and well, it has at least forced them back, but do they know about that second player? They are. They're looking for it. Good work from Dosia, and now can create a little bit of additional space for himself around the back of that site. Cloud knowing he needs to break through this quickly, but even still, he's walking back into the hands of Dosia again. He did enough in this round, it seems, but still comes down to Aves. It's another round on the board for KC, and we're equal once again.
It was such an interesting idea from KC. We've already seen them in the anti-eco play spread on the map. So I sort of expected them, after being punished so hard, to avoid that play, at least for a couple rounds. But here, they come in with the idea to early fake the B site, pressure the A site, embed two players, one on each of the angles on A, then go back in the other direction, use their harbor wall and their neon to fake out that B site, and then go back in the other direction. I mean, this was a wild round from them. It looked overcooked, but it worked out wonderfully in the end. And Doja checking for that flank is what won them.
Oh, the same fight once again, and no matter how quick Alfie could normally be, he's not quick enough on his escape mechanism this time around. Of course, Fnatic's extra credits have been thrown into this one. But with that early man advantage, rushing through this choke would have quite a lot of risks about it. Of course, they're going to break the door, remove one of those more aggressive angles, more awkward angles to clear. But you'd expect if they are going to go this way, I was going to say they'd need a Prowler or two, but they don't have any of those left. Oh, nice shot from Narrate, and quick enough to escape as well.
Spike down mid.
3 versus 4, and the angle from Crashies is going to bring us back to even. Health back up for Cloud as well, and well, the advantage has quickly faded for KC. They've got some mid control for their trouble, and breaking the door after Levin makes it through. That's a beautiful idea, but it doesn't look like anyone's been caught in that trap as Fnatic play back towards the site. Now push up in A main, it looks like Boaster's going to take very aggressive control, and this is perfect. They're swapping positions with KC, but leaving the attackers surrounded.
Oh, one door shuts. But of course, everybody at this point has already passed the angle. Cloud, he's been waiting the entire round for another fight. was just patient with his push, and he knows there's another guy coming, knowing and dealing with Dothio has been difficult, but now everybody on the other side is waiting and watching Fnatic reclaim their lead, and it really does feel like, obviously again, very early stages of a map, this has all been about mid-round calling and less about strategy. I think that was what we saw in the round before, constant mid-rounding back and forth, and this was all about mid-rounding in aggressive ways, like, okay, we've lost this, you fall back here, I'll move here, you move here, and we can trap them in. And I think that's what makes this map a little bit more scary for KC, is they're probably up against the best mid-round caller in the world.
Yeah, this is why we expect Fnatic and why we've seen them so often succeed on new maps, succeed with new metas. This is a squad that makes their own rules and forces you to play by them. And it's getting frustrating on the side of KC. You could see it in those replays there. Zaysh is not happy with what he's seeing. And for KC coming into round 6, not a lot to work with to make Zaysh happy. With the Tour de Force activated by Narrate, is their best opportunity. A few Sheriffs in play as well. And it looks like, again, we will see somewhat of a fake. You see Levin towards this B site, with the spike and the pack towards A.
That's one of the more interesting things about this map choice in general. Like, I wonder, because I expected the teams to be picking Summit to be underdogs. Like, I would go into a game and go, okay, they're picking this because they're an underdog, or if like a massive favorite wants some practice. Whereas in this case, because of form and what we've seen recently from KC, I put these two teams level. So them picking this either, in my opinion, makes them believe they need an upset map, like Summit, or that in scrims they've been incredible at it. And only time will tell. If it's that they believe they're an underdog, I'm a little bit worried, because I think that Fnatic, especially versus GX, didn't look their best. No, it's week 1 after an extended break. That can happen, but KC have looked hot to the touch so far.
Oh. That's big damage by Alpha. He's found himself one, slowed down the push, and 8 seconds left to get that spike planted. KC need to pick up the pace. A kill on the planter here will seal the deal of the round, but Fnatic are playing patient, allowing the plant to come in. Oh, his head's visible. Sugetsu thought he was safe in the cove. Maybe thought he could fight back from there, and that's a big problem for Alpha.
Yeah.
Running through that wall is going to be nasty, but Narrate's ended up with 1.
Yeah, considering the buy, it's going to all be about damage, but realistically, it's just that singular kill, a comfortable close to the round for Fnatic. But those are the sort of rounds we want to see, with the early back and forth, the early damage that was able to be done with just pistols alone, to come out with 4 players standing, build up those credits once again. But now is where we'll see the buy back up for KC.
Yeah, it wasn't really a round that we had a lot of hope for KC in, and Fnatic did well. I mean, from the very start, they were using up smokes, blocking out main, nobody peeking when they were down. And it felt like the first minute and a half of that was KC. And understandably, when you have just a couple Sheriffs, classics, but they're saying, all right, Narrate, go find something. We're going to wait for you. We're going to maybe pressure mid while you sit in it.
Fnatic then going on to the attack side. If you're not foolproof in your plans, and it comes down to mid-round calling, Fnatic are going to win.
The other thing is looking at form for KC. You know, you say this is the best chance to beat them, and reality is it's the first time that if they win, I won't sit there and go, oh, that's an upset, or that's a bad map from Fnatic, a bad series. Instead, this looks like even footing, or maybe even favorites off recent form. KC have been playing extremely well. Now, to start this round out, it is no different. A double opening, and yet they don't blitz in towards this A site. There's still a res online for Cloud. If they decide to give up this space, she'll be fighting an extra man. You know that for sure. I still expect them to finish on A, but the patience from KC, they play that freeze just to put doubt into the minds of Fnatic.
A lot of fallback angles. A lot of positions that can be taken. And Cloud again does well, but he tries to switch up. I think Levin actually ends up dying into his own, or diving into his own harbor utility, but didn't affect him too much. Bolster ahead of the curve, but Levin is well aware. Another big round for the Neon. And Abez is there to close things out. After the pause, a much more confident round, but again, that feels more off the basis of Fnatic's aggression. I want to see in those slower rounds if it will still work out for KC.
Well, that's the main thing. When you look at this squad so far, 2-0 in the season, a complete turnaround. And they start this map out a little shaky. It does look like a mistake, you know? Just thinking of history, to play a new map up against Fnatic, to pick it is another thing entirely. And for Zaysh, well, he called a timeout seeing things go wrong. And they immediately answered up with a round, with advantages early on as well. But they need to do it again. Fnatic back up with a full buy. Alfia standing, waiting for this contact, and he'll end up with 11. They throw everything at him to ensure he'll have no impact, and yet still he finds what he needs.
That's one. Trade back immediate though. Dossier has been on fire so far this game. A lot of the time Harbor players suffer with their individual ability, but not him. He's looked great so far. With the Viper's pit up, cutting off a lot of the rotations.
Spike planted.
I was going to say it becomes very difficult, but it seems like they're just giving up on that. Maybe expecting at this point that Fnatic aren't going to be giving too much over. Bear in mind the credits are fully dissipated for FNC. And while they have no choice really but to hold on, I like the switch up of pace as well. Like the KC, we sort of mentioned it, there's a lot you can do with mid control and these sort of slow rotations back and like the back and forth they were doing in some of the early rounds. And the last 2 rounds they've just gone, yep, we're going to hit A. We're going to be very direct. If they're going to try and be covering all these other positions on the map, they're going to struggle to slow us down, and they did.
Yeah, it definitely looked like, again, looking at the frustration from Zaysh, I don't know if the game plan wasn't being followed, if maybe they were doing it too frequently, or overcooking it a little bit. I'm not sure what was going wrong. But I do understand the theory behind it. You're looking at this as every side is difficult to push. There's so many nooks and crannies for them to hide into. So what do? You push and pull the map. You get them to move like an accordion, and eventually they'll stick on that last fake. They'll never expect the triple fake. I get it. Great stun by KC? No, it was a Fnatic stun, but sure, look. But now taking the more direct approach, although that is kind of where we worry about this map, how difficult it can be to play straight into sites. It has worked. Now Fnatic are taking the leaf out of KC's book. They're going to go direct with a push into A main. Not quite running, contacting it, and Narrate won't even get to click his TP.
That's a good trade. With the weaponry currently on offer, potential to get an operator, at least for now, into Kayak's hands. Nightfall has been used on the other side of the map, though, realizing the danger of this round and already clearing out enough positioning to get rid of the door. Of course, you can drop down to the left. Pretty similar to what you see on Lotus, but obviously with a big door in the way of the normal gap. Kayak, though, already looking to rotate in. Now, he has to question whether he wants to put this operator into this round or save it for the next. And I think that's where you're going to wait for space from other players. Alfia wants that backstab, maybe trying to hold them in. And Dossier's gone down as well. Although the time is ticking, with a man advantage, there's much more of a likelihood of them getting back into positioning down into that 2v2 scenario. And Levin is also going to activate his ult, but the spam is perfect. That was enough to close out this round. The time long gone, and KC with a lead once again.
That was big by Sagetsu. On the flood into the B side there, you can see that Fnatic are still getting comfortable when it comes to this map. Like a smoke went up on the site as you see Crashies throw the reveal to try to punish them on the run out. So once they emerge from the smoke, they should be revealed. But they're not, because there's a smoke blocking that line of sight. And by the time they wrap around to an angle they could be seen by it, the haunt has disappeared, and they get the site for free. Valuable piece of utility thrown into the wind. And it's a micro mistake, not something we regularly see from Fnatic. And I do think that's just a symptom of this map being so new. We'll see that change. But for now, it's given KC the advantage. They'll leg up in a 5-4. Still that full buy for Fnatic, though. And I feel like it's been a while since we've seen Alpha hit that form. He's due around.
Okay, Levin's not quite quick enough, and neither is Dossier on the trade. They knew the Alfia would be just around the corner, but he was ready for that second player. Wow, a 2-man advantage of Alfia alone.
Bring them down.
Even still, though, are slowly making their way towards this B site. An aggressive position from Boaster, but a spam could close the door and leave him alone, but maybe Crashies alone is enough. In fact, it will be. He was so wary about a player coming from behind that instead they've both been slaughtered and left Narrate with, again, probably a save.
Yeah, I guess.
He could go for it. He's got credits,
through.
But do you want to give them an op?
Well, he hasn't got credit. He's got 250 credits, but yeah, the team does. There's plenty there to work with. Drop over a rifle, but for a 1v5, you know, maybe it's a 1v3, sure. Maybe if he has the spike, sure. But too many conditions stacked against him, and so he will go. Another round in favor of Fnatic, and a tie up. The question
10
only is,
seconds left.
can Narrate make it out with the weapon? And, well, now the answer should be yes. The only player close by is Crashies. He's deciding not to even push him, which I think is a wise choice here.
With their own, with their own finances, it makes sense. Like, I think if they had a few more 1,000 credits in the bank, they'd probably go for something there. But yeah, more of a confidence round from Fnatic. Like, firstly, just these aggressive pushes is exactly what you want to see from Althea. It's why we're going to see Chamber played, I think, in a lot of different teams and a lot of different comps, because there's so many fallback. There's so many fallback angles that you can take. Like, you can literally do that multiple times from multiple positions on the map. In fact, we've already watched Althea do it across the board. So if he's not feeling confident, that's where we're really in danger.
Oh, a minute 30 on the clock, and Alpha has changed up his position in mid, but Narrate has found him all the way back in the spawn. He's found himself an opening pick, a nasty angle. And a 5 versus 4 now for KC. We've seen him play more direct in recent rounds, find success there. Now with the man advantage, I expect that's exactly what we're going to see.
That's a very safe TP position to go back to. The fact he can take you all the way to your own spawn. Again, showing the value of what Chamber can bring. And there he is once more. 2 kills for Alpha in the last round, 2 kills for Narrate, going toe-to-toe, and Crashies left blinded in the corner. It seems they know he's there, and that makes it all too easy for Levin. The remaining couple, again, it feels like it has to be a save scenario, and ooh, okay, Kayak is a little bit ahead of the curve. He is going to be able to kill off Sugetsu. With a res, there might be a temptation. It's just looking at the positions of where players could be resed.
That's going.
It's only really back B that has any opportunity.
At this stage, by the time you put that res in, I think the round's already gone. They've got to get some work towards the site if they want this one under their belt. And with Cloud down, that should pretty much seal it. Kayak, take a glance at the credits. Alpha is pretty low, but has an ultimate to work with. So it's not like they'll be missing any pieces if he does go down, but I think he's happy with how many weapons he's removed from KC. Not that it'll make much of a difference. The next round being the last of the half.
Wow. 6-5. The back and forth of this map continues, and nobody really able to get a foothold. Of course, for the teams within EMEA, we don't really know where this map is going to land in terms of if it's very one-sided to one side of the map. Someone might be having a great half or a horrific one, but I also think it's you're going to learn the most from your play in these official games. And obviously, for the most part, if you're in the same group as a team, you won't have played any scrims against them. And nobody really does that unless they're insanely confident or quite bad. So those will be
Let's play.
Bring them down.
the likelihood that neither of these teams have played against each other just yet. Res online, tour de force as you mentioned. Narrate's pretty close to his, but unless he's going to run double op, doesn't hold the most value.
Double up in a different sense, yeah. A Kimbo. Well, not quite, but...
You get the quick switch at least.
Yeah, it's true. Second shot makes it almost like an outlaw.
New outlaw or old outlaw?
Well, it's only got one shot, I suppose, but yeah, pull out time. New outlaw. I'd say he's got the new outlaw.
Is it inaccurate? Is it inaccurate?
He suspects that
Okay.
Sugetsu's in the corner. Cloud, I don't know what gave that away, but that's beautiful work. Breaking the wall took a little too long, and now, posted up on the angle will be Alpha. Damage onto 11, 16 HP. Slide all you like, that should still be an easy shot.
They've thrown in the Reckoning, but they're not done anything with it. They were building up orbs to get that ultimate online, and instead, they've ended up with nothing. And then the re-aggression from Crashies has just completely shut them down. They're trying to swing back into this angle. He's just waiting for them, but again, Dosia lands the shot. Even still, though, 25 seconds. They're hightailing it towards the B site where Boaster is waiting. Dosia again. This fight could be everything.
Kill my allies.
If Boaster gets this kill, it should be round over, but it seems like Abbott spotted him. It doesn't matter. The IGL has closed this round for Dosia. He needs this kill within seconds, and he does get it, but he's not going to be quick enough to turn back around. 6-6, dead even in our first half of Summit. And well, let's see if anybody's learned anything ready for that second half.
Yeah, indeed. Well, look, here's the thing. We've had a lot of expectations around this map, and I don't quite know where it sits, but we're not the only ones who've had thoughts about it. In fact, we sat down with some of our pros early on to ask them what they think of Summit. Take a look at this.
What's the biggest thing that surprised
Be doing absolutely fine. One thing I did note though, and it's something that's going to be interesting maybe for Althea or Boaster, whoever's going to be lurking, Sugetsu is getting picked off a lot because a lot of the time you are having pressure on one side of the map at least. But we've also got Viper on the defense, and I think that's always an interesting talking point. Maybe not as interesting as the chamber-on-chamber action. There's already, we're going to see a couple, but then the trades are back immediate. Advantage now one way. Ooh, I think Sugetsu got seen before he got past that, but you know, he's fine. He lived.
Crash is in a good position here. It seems like Aves was going to go walkabouts and try to link up with this A-site push. Get there early to help out the defense, but Fnatic have slowed this down. And, well, in the 4 versus 3, I think they're doing the right thing. Wall goes back up. And again, we saw this wall on the attack, but we didn't get to see it used on the defense in that first half. Fnatic playing without it. And this is interesting to give them a lot of control down bottom mid and in A main, just to make those first fights so much more difficult for Fnatic. Hasn't been that difficult.
Oh.
They've got the advantage, but maybe not for long.
They both know each other's there now. It was the element of surprise that Aves had initially, but
30 seconds
didn't
left.
seem to catch Crashies at all. And as said, these are the sort of moments where you normally talk about Fnatic doing their best work. Boaster just selling a full-on ruse. Look at him. He's shot the button. He's gone, look, the wall's gone down. Smoke up. Oh. Yeah, I think the penny's now dropped for Sugetsu, but he needs to kill off Boaster. They have done that relatively quick.
Left.
They've also then implanted another player in Crashies, though. Do they check for this one? If they get this kill, maybe there's a chance of winning the round, but it's not a trade that goes favorably. They would have liked to kill him off without losing anybody else now for Kayak and Cloud. Well, with angles already sectioned. Again, has to be a little bit careful with how aggressive they're being.
He's made it all the way past. I mean, put it this way. If he picks Cloud and goes straight for the defuse, Kayak's going to have to sprint. He's on the right character for it. I'll give you that. And the tap, that should be the end. Cloud on the swing, and you can hear how close the steps were from Kayak. 7-6 for Fnatic. The lead is theirs again.
Yeah, these are sort of the things I'm talking about when I say that Bose is very good at playing the mid-rounding. Sure, it probably was a little bit closer than he would have liked, but it's just like, okay, you're going to wait out there. I'm going to sell pretty much a perfect ruse on this side of the map. He didn't even know that both players were there, but neither of them were going to move while he's doing all of that. And then they get the plant for free. They put the wall down. It means that a player has to run all the way around and stand basically perfectly in the open with no chance of an easy fight. That was very comfortable. And if that's how this continues, yeah, it's a little bit worrying for KC's map pick, but say round 1. Plenty more to come.
Well, round 2. Narrate with a headhunter in hand has already dealt death to one!
Ooh.
And he saved at the last second his Kayak as the wall shut down. It's going to allow him to get back up to full health, and what could have been an awful advantage to give away ends up as still a pretty workable position for Fnatic in the post plant.
Well, the jumping right-click classic over the top of the Sage wall, to my surprise, did 0 damage. But maybe that'll work out next time for Sugetsu. Kayak's position. Okay, never mind. We're talking about Cloud. Another couple. Althea there to support him. Got to be careful. He's being swung from the other angle. Again, this is incredibly costly and got dangerous. Down to just one man standing for Fnatic. Not clean whatsoever. And now they're going to have a choice to make of how much they invest back into this round. Seems like a decent amount. And oh my god, 3,000 kills.
That's pretty impressive for Althea. That averages more than a kill per day since he started. It's actually more than 2 kills per day. It could even be more than 3 kills per day. I don't know how many days he's played Valorant for, I'll be honest then. This is only within VCT, so that'd be confidence 3, but if we're talking whole career, I don't know.
Come on, Captain Cal. How many days has Althea played in VCT?
Yeah, kills per day. Get that
Kills
stat up.
per day.
KPD. Let's see it. Let's see, he already has it. He already has it ready. 8-6. Fnatic now trying to defend that lead. And, well, look, losing this, they'll still have it. But they've got a lot of rifles here.
Well, yeah, they invested quite heavily into this one. They went in almost with a 4-buy, and it means the 2 players are basically on 0 credits for the next round. This is a less conventional bonus than you might normally see, but I guess they took so much damage in the last, they decided to risk it. Also, they did have the Nightfall, and then you go, okay, that might bring us the round. Well, Crashies died immediately in the initial battle around A main. So they don't have that ultimate anymore. Although they could get it back if Cloud gets a singular kill, and that is why he is being set up to take contact by Boaster.
After losing opening pick, it's a very, very slow round. 40 seconds, Spike making it to mid, and now the split to the A side, but KC ready. Doja just now starting to look in the other direction.
Yeah, look at Narrate as well. Look how far forward he is on the B side.
It's a good chance for KC. Numbers in the right place. 11 caught by that
stun.
stun. No, great work from Boaster. An Astra utility hitting, and the wall has left Zagetsu on 21 HP, completely alone. If Cloud's the one to get the kill, they'll even have the res to add on, and he'll just go for the plant for that exact reason. Boaster with a freebie has set them on a path to victory. 4 versus 3, and there goes the res.
Cloud gone.
Right there.
Walking back into the angle, Dosia seems to have a good idea of where his opponents are standing, but has to wait for his teammates. Both of them are still on that flank. It's patience from KC, hoping that someone makes a mistake instead. They now have that information, but that was also just to give space over to Dosia. He's trying to bait Kayak into the fight, but it hasn't worked. Eventually, though, he will clear out Kayak and leave Boaster alone. But the time is already ticking, halfway gone. He needs to swing this, and the trade is perfect from Aves. It was a round that looked set to go the way of Fnatic, but KC, they fight back in.
Yeah, good work from Aves at the end, a 2K in that round. But again, Doja getting more work done than he should. This guy has been such a highlight of this map so far. And I can't even put it all down to the Harbor. It's not like, and I do like the Harbor, don't get me wrong. When I saw these compositions, I sort of lean towards KC's, not even just because they have a Viper. Let's go! Because I'm not even, I'm not sold fully on the value of Viper on this map. But Harbor, on the other hand, on that attack, being able to dish it up is beautiful. 1.95 kills per day. God damn it, I'm a liar. I'm sorry, everybody. Listen, I tried my best. Didn't mean to be this guy, but...
No, it's not you. Althea needs to try harder.
That's true. That's true. 3,000. That should be 5,000. Come on, man. I hope he didn't hear. No one sent that to him. I'll be in the building like half an hour after this game.
Yeah, he's like 2 foot taller than you. You should be careful.
2 foot is he's a 9 foot tall man. I mean, what can I say? For Fnatic pistols, Alphier with a headhunter, and I think a weapon has been deleted. Indeed, it was a weapon. Kayak now picking that up. Crashies in himself, making their way towards this B site. And guess who's standing there? It's the raid boss, Doja, ready and waiting. But they'll go the other way. They've sensed his aura. It makes sense.
Oh, the problem is the opposing side re-aggressing as a group. 3 players taking back the fight into middle and giving them a further advantage. Now, Cloud does still have that res available, but it's finding a position of whether it's worth being used.
Coming through.
Well, you can see just Dosia's ability to just fall back to another angle to fight from. He's been doing it all the way throughout this round. Like, takes contact, falls back, takes contact, falls back. And now with 20 seconds left, they're going to get themselves in towards the site. But from this point onwards, it makes sense for KC to almost just wait and play this as a retake.
10 seconds left.
Well, that is exactly what they're going to do.
Spike planted.
The late game plan, Cloud much more cautious to go for bodies as KC fill in that space, not allowing the res. Now they'll look to crunch in from 2 different angles after breaking the wall. And it will be Kayak who has to deliver. He's the one stuck in the corner. Boaster steps in to help, but he's only got a classic. Kayak's going to have to take this one across the line. 53 HP as Cloud comes in to help out. Steps into main, but he's walled off. And he'll have to play this one alone. Not a bad angle. Oh, it is. Actually, the boxes are in the way. I don't know how he's going to get away with this one. Straight to half, and already KC are deciding who gets to take the defuse. 8-8. A weapon saved for Cloud. The scoreline equalized for KC.
Yeah, it was a lower buy round for Fnatic, but I think they might have hoped to do at least a little bit more damage once they got into the post. But again, I just really like the patience from KC. Like, even though I think people have maybe overreacted slightly about the no strats comment, it seems like their communication is very good. Like, you can even see when Dosia goes to swing, that was the major danger when Kayak's holding that really enough to take them
Thanks
to champs anymore. Now they have to look to try and get top 2, and going 3-0 in the group puts them in a great place. For Fnatic, it was the break in the pause. But now, let's listen in to how they deal with this attack side.
Yeah, do it now. Take it back.
We're gonna res, it's fine.
Barrier. Your duty is not over.
Came through! Oh, just...
Spike down B.
I have the spike.
I'm walking Dragon right now.
I'm gonna... Do you want me to smoke you off, Alpha?
No. There's a trap here. Wait, can you smoke here?
I'm walking in again.
Do it.
Make pressure on the B main if you can.
Do it. I have really good timing. Take a.
Wait, now, wait.
On heaven.
One backside and one locker. One locker, one backside.
My bad, I didn't put the stun that round. I didn't know we were gonna... I thought it was just a B main default.
Come on. Can win this round. Can just run.
Oh, that's a big blow dealt to Fnatic. They try to go for the res in main, but Sugetsu got past the
30
wall,
seconds left.
made the play, flew under the radar, and struck at the right time. That's
And
exactly
is
what
still
Narrate
alive.
is doing now. He's heard that rotation to the A site. He's called for Doja, the big player for this squad so far, and he's going to be in position. Rotate on the way from Sugetsu. And the ult
Yeah,
to
fair.
delay them, to cost some time. 14 seconds less now. The plant needs to come
10
through,
seconds left.
and the flank is underway.
planted.
They're buying time as Narrate has got a freebie. Cloud down and out, leaves Boaster alone. 4 to take. 4 must die in his hands for any hope, but no. KC, 4 players alive. A big credit-making round, and the lead is now theirs.
I think the most concerning thing in this round for me is that Sugetsu is alive at the end of it. Like that, a man that basically gets an opener, runs back through your wall while you're putting it up. Well, let's just have a look. Opener goes through, you wall next to him, and then he gets to go and kill 2, and then leave?
Yeah, the
He
fact
then
gets out.
leaves? How does he leave? How does he escape that moment? Like, in my head, I just assumed he died. Because I saw someone else die. I was like, that must have been Sugetsu.
Yeah.
Because there's no way he could still be alive. That's mental.
Can I tell you what worries me more?
No.
We just had a timeout, and I heard Boaster in the listen and say I didn't understand the strat. Timeout from Fnatic. That's not what I want to hear. There's mistakes being made there. And KC taking full advantage of it, 9-8. The lead is theirs, and the man advantage in this round as well. This is an investment for Fnatic. They are leaving nothing on the table, or next to nothing. Boaster's got a little bit of cash to spare, but the rest of the squad are skint. For KC, double digits will likely see more rounds fall their way with an eco after. Fnatic shut out of top mid control and still desperately trying to break through on A. There's a Viper's pit blocking off one side, and if they go back to B, well, Narrate's in their spawn now.
Yeah, they're able to get so much ground. The only real problem, though, is that he might have missed the boat. Yeah. Now, there is still a player over on that B side of the map, so no matter what happens, eventually his flank is likely to pay dividends.
But Levin's looking the wrong way.
Yeah, Levin has no
Because he
idea.
assumes it's clear because Narrate just cleared it, but there is a big gap, and they've just now realized it. So we talk about mistakes in the last round for Fnatic. That's an abysmal one for Cade. I don't want to see a replay of Zaysh because he has broken something. And now,
30 seconds
And now
left.
they've let Boaster walk right past. I don't know how much value he'll have from this position.
Spike planted.
Well, you'd
But
say
he
that,
could catch him going back in.
in post, but there's Narrate. The backstab eventually coming through.
Boaster's got this round.
They should do, but we
This
have
round?
to wait and see. A Bulldog ready and waiting. Stun through. They're looking his way. Or they were, at least for a second. It seems like they do have somewhat of an idea that he's going to be coming from this position. Timing going to be everything, and he's got the timing perfect! Boaster takes over! The backstab! The knife twisted! And what should have been a flank on flanks, now that man is all that's left in Narrate. A round that looked all but set from the get-go to go the way of KC, but Boaster throws the ultimate spanner in the works. 9-9, nothing separating these two teams. No one able to escape that one-round deficit.
I am so scared of the replay we are likely to see of Zace. That round's got to be so frustrating. They push deep and take control, and they lose to a blind spot that they created. And then later in the round, this happens as well.
That might be the cleanest Bulldog triple spray down I've ever seen.
Oh, they're trying to calm him down, but it's not working.
Oh my God, Jakey!
And I'll say,
Huge.
I will say,
boys.
I can blame him 0% for the reaction either. I think I'd be worse. And that's such a frustrating round. That was a chance to put Fnatic on an eco, to run away with this map. And now, Fnatic are right back in the game. And when you say that, you very rarely see them leave again.
Well, yeah, let's say that it's been a bit messy. It's kind of what we expected with the new map, but I also think for KC the risk is slightly higher considering they're the ones that picked it. And yeah, I didn't expect to see someone die almost literally with their pants down. But hey, right back in it. Purchase available. Narrate does have the Tour de Force, but he also has a rifle, so I'm guessing he's not used it. And he's just waiting on the other side. It's bait. It's a beautiful bait, but the reveal almost gives up Levin. He's going to get out of here, isn't he? No, he's pulled back. He's slid a little bit early, but luckily he had a teammate to throw down the cove to make sure he was safe. A great bait and switch.
It looked like he thought he could break a siege with a slide, and well, you can't.
I was kind of hoping that he was going to wait until
That's what I thought,
and then he was going to slide, and then he was just like,
maybe he
no,
thought,
I am strong.
Maybe he thought it was going to break. He just had a misread in the timing, even though it happened just a second ago. But that, you know, is what it is. For Fnatic, well, look, the last round was a real haymaker, straight to the chin of KC. That one's going to set you back a couple steps, but their leg's not looking so wobbly, standing tall now at 10-9, and the lead back in their hands. All they need to do is, and I think we saw this on the attack side in the first couple rounds as well, though there was some success for that there, so I mean, it's not as airtight a point, but I do think that not overcomplicating things has its benefits here for KC, especially when it's a new map, and there are some gaps being created that they're clearly not aware of.
With that, I think both teams at this point must have accepted that there's going to be sucker punches in this map and they just have to get back up. It's like a Tyson Fury back from the dead style thing, because the last round, well, the round we just saw was obviously a guy managed to get away with hiding in a corner. That was a nice bait from Narrate. The round before was wild, and the round before that was wild in the other direction. So I think both teams just going to go, all right, this is, you know, it's going to be scrappy. It's going to be messy. But we got to get on with it. And for Fnatic, again, they're in a position where economically not the greatest spot, but they do have that overdrive. The counter immediately thrown in, though, directly placed in the face. And, well, I was going to say he was unlucky timing for a swap, but actually he trades evenly.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know how he got away with the kill there. Doja onto Alpha, seeming to stack the advantages. Our KC boasters answered back. Levin's been caught as well, and, well, we're back into not only even footing for Fnatic a second later, it's an advantage. With the plant coming through on Cloud, they can pull back another player, but the bodies aren't really in the positions to do that. Boaster, on the other hand, getting into a great position in the same old setup that we saw work for KC in the last. Oh no, it's not a bait! They ran! What? They ran through! I thought they were gonna bait! One player takes the fight, the other stands in the corner. They just saw it happen. Crashy's alone. Now the numbers were in his favor moments ago. He's going to deal with Narrate up close and personal. And he will. Bailing Fnatic out with a Red Bull clutch.
That was a terrifying round.
What was that?
I can only assume that Fnatic thought they were further back, put the Cosmic Divide, take control of the smoke, wait for them to run through. Instead, they were much closer than they ever theorized and got absolutely wrecked for it. But luckily, they have Crashy, who is very good at clutching and will bring home the round anyway. They've got to make every single Fnatic fan on the planet sweat to an immeasurable degree. No high fever can ever beat being a Fnatic fan.
You want to play? Let's play.
Aang looked very calm, cool, and collected there. It looked like that was all part of the plan, but I'll tell you, it most certainly was not.
I think that's called acceptance.
Slow orb up and over, trying to hit the button with it. Skill shots. Didn't work this time. Poster. Oh, it's starting out well for Fnatic. They're getting some trades out with some space as well towards this A site. Spike can come through, but Boaster's being caught in the lurk. And now it looks like Kayak will do the same. He's 30 HP. So he wants to try to make a play to catch off these players on the rotate. The surprise about to be revealed, but it looks like Narrate was ready. Ready or not, here comes a bullet.
Planted.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Res still available for Cloud as well. Rotation. I expect Aves to wait for Sugetsu to join him. The problem, though, is with the wall down, it leaves them so many angles they have to try and swing from. Shot not connected by Althea, but he's able to escape. And now Kayak, who was known, they marked him on the map. It doesn't matter, though. Even on low HP, he is landing every shot in front of him. His third of the round, and Aves realizes he needs to bait them into the fight. He does just that, but Althea is a little bit more patient. Sits back a bit further, just needs a singular bullet to end it, and he will do so. Now Fnatic have the lead for maybe the first time in a while. It's gone back and forth so many times. I'll be honest, I don't remember at this point.
Yeah, we've definitely been even a few times, but it's been a while since we saw him do the math, run the numbers, get Captain Cow on the case. Either way, I'll tell you what, it has been a back and forth game if ever I've seen one, and I think this has delivered exactly as we've expected. We've seen the map used in ways that those tight little angles, we've seen bait setups, we've seen these crazy ideas from KC to start it out as well with the triple fakes in like round 4 or 5.
Summit for KC, wow. It's looking like the little bits of like tissue or lint that you find in the bottom of your pocket. Like, maybe you should get rid of it rather than like...
I mean, maybe Doja had a hand in picking this map. He certainly seems to feel at home. No chance for him to show up. This is mid push. Well, in fact, it's Narrate to be the tip of that spear.
He hit him.
Landed a good tag, and the heal used up already for Fnatic in the early stages. They're now making it around to this A site with the spike. It looks like Crashies might have a job on his hand here. Breaking the door. Trying to sell the fake. But, well, I mean, not really. Not even a piece of utility thrown. This almost works better. You just throw fade util, nothing else behind it. It's going to be very obvious it's fake pressure. But you handle it like this, well, they think maybe you're freezing outside. Maybe you're ready to break in.
Maybe you're faking the fake.
Yeah, maybe
you're
triple
out faking or fake with a fake. So you think that you're not faking, but you actually are faking. But you're not. Everybody get that? Cool.
I was following.
Moving on.
Following the whole way. And they've done exactly that, Tom. Exactly what you said.
It is
back to B main.
Annoyingly, it is the truth. Doesn't make it any less confusing, but it is the truth. Narrate, however, has not fallen for it. He is waiting patiently to eliminate, obliterate Kayak, and then there's a second layer. But with the snake bite down, 30 seconds left. Are they going to try and run back to the other side? Because they also haven't moved the next player. Now, the stuns that Boaster have been using have been fantastic, but this time Levin is not sticking around to challenge. 20 seconds now. They're not going for this. It's fallen into a save for Fnatic. The spike is still all the way back towards the spawn, and this time the fake on fake on fake into a real hit didn't work. And so, unfortunately, they've run out of time.
Yeah, I mean, it was great utility. Like when you look at Boaster putting down that stun that caught Levin a while ago, but they also had players to run after him. They had Kayak to quickly close the distance. Levin wasn't respecting that star. He saw it in the ground. He said, I don't give a damn about your utility. He got punished for it, and now the second that stun's going through, he's already sliding out of there. He knows what's going on. I think also last time he was mid-fight when it was popped, so the timing was absolutely perfect. This time they didn't have the bodies to take that risk. 11-11. A good fight back by KC. We're neck and neck for what could be the first time in this series.
Yeah.
But this can only go one way. For KC, a chance to push up to 12, to put the pressure onto Fnatic for Sage to have the upper hand against his former head coach. Let's jump in with KC and see how this vital round plays out.
We're gonna play.
I'm gonna full
Guys, I think they wanna split maybe.
We play heavy. We play heavy.
Nothing.
Can you play it to ult like this maybe without ulting B or no?
They're gonna try to end
Cannot
B
from here.
Okay, it's fine.
They will try to revive maybe also.
Yeah.
Amen, Neon, maybe operator.
I'll take it.
I'm gonna flood on you.
I don't see mid.
Tell me when I should take B, Marshall.
I mean, he's gonna smoke me most likely.
Ult goes.
Shade, Neon. I'm moving, by the way, Dima.
Two more side, bingo side, green bingo.
Green inside.
Is this walled? It's walled, it's walled, red.
I will destroy it.
Spike planted.
I heard one leave, like fully leave the site.
Right side.
One
One
is 10
HP.
HP. In front of
I'm all with him. I'm all with him.
They smoked me off.
On you, on you.
You just spammed me
Last
back.
player standing.
Nice try, nice try.
All good, all good. We can do the same shit with our approach.
Crashes was 10 HP there as well. The molly sent
Match
through,
point.
the shorty in hand. I thought he was dead to rights, but well, dodges the headhunter shots and fires right back. It's 12-11 for Fnatic. And again, that chance, that opportunity to go into their map pick with one under their belt. It's just around the corner.
That kill was everything. Like getting rid of Dozier at the back of the site. I believe he had his Harborough in the Reckoning online already, so if he'd been given an extra second, he might have been able to slow that push to a halt, but instead, the rest of the players...
We'll see if that's what we get. 10 seconds on the clock. And it is Narrate moving towards this A site. Last time it was a really nice bait that was set up. The same TP allows him to go so deep and get right back out of there. But this time, well, Fnatic, at least starting, are going towards the side of the map where there is absolutely nobody. Sugetsu's the closest, and even then he was watching mid a second ago.
Yeah, I think with the trap, the orb, and the snake bite, he does have enough delay to potentially slow them down. But the second an aggressive push isn't spotted, the second Narrate is firmly in control of that A main position.
Still waiting.
That's where they now give up that spot. Fnatic instead, though, battling more for middle. The button actually being shot by the defensive side. It cuts off a lot of the loop around, and that's somewhere we've seen Boaster really do damage from, so I really don't mind that at all. You limit the amount of angles that can be lost. Sure, you no longer can fight in that position, but KC don't mind that.
They've just heard how far back Aves is with the Prowler coming out from miles away. They didn't read that there was aggression elsewhere for that control in mid to be given up. Great opening for Narrate. He gets out scot-free. And now they look to the other side of the map where still KC are in position. And now Aves has the info just in time. Alpha was about to be a real problem.
Well played.
But it looks like KC haven't lost hope just yet.
20 seconds. And they've been hit by the Nightfall as well. Aves has probably single-handedly won this round, and Levin gets to pick up the pieces at the end. Sure, that wraparound in the end from Boaster will be an attempt to do some damage, but it ends up being an in-zone flawless, and maybe giving your protege a pause was not the best time to do it, because they looked very comfortable. And I'll say as well, I do really love the button break from the defense from Aves, and then him knowing exactly where he needs to cover. His utility from that point onwards was perfect. The fights he took, the Nightfall, he won the round on every decision he made all the way through.
Yeah, genuinely, the haunt could not have been, if it was half a second, if it was a quarter, I would say even a tenth of a second late, he's getting killed. But he threw it at the very last moment. Great read in that round from Aves. Good performance by KC here today, and for Fnatic, 12-12. They've also had a good performance. Some would say a very similar performance. And it comes down to overtime to separate these teams. No ops in play this time. But to be honest, it hasn't looked like Narrate really needed it.
No, he was doing very good on the defense, and I wonder if maybe he'll risk it on that side of the map. Instead, though, trying to get that Reckoning online once again. Very good for creating awkward positions, but also it covers so much of the site, either side of the map. If Dozier can garner it, it can slow a post plant. For now, though, a lot of play towards this B site, and again, it's the same as on the other side. The defensive chamber able to get the opener. Does Alpha go in for more?
He's sitting back, but Levin might go in. It looks like he wants to fight, and maybe if he could go back in time, he'd make a different choice. Down to a 4 versus 2. KC sought some advantages, but they lost everything that they had in the process. Narrate and Doja, they've been impressive so far.
He's so low.
Doja in the first half, Narrate in the second. Still, the numbers are stacked against them. The odds not in their favor, and with Narrate spotted, it is a done deal. 13-12, and another chance to close this map out for Fnatic.
Yeah, I think a smart round from Alpha here. Like having the initial aggression, but then not getting overzealous from a lot of those positions. Like he sits back, even expects somebody to try and challenge to clear him. And again, we talk about the sort of the positives and negatives of Levin. I feel like that is one where you want to see him with a little bit more support and make sure you can clear Alfia, because the fact he's able to just hold on to that ground means anybody can rotate through those positions. He can create a crossfire and helped a lot towards the end. 13-12. Fnatic with an opportunity to win the first summit in EMEA. I'm sure there'll be a million different learnings for them to take away from this one, but all they care about is the dub. Although, you know, if there's going to be a spam through the smoke that immediately eliminates a player, it might be a little bit tough.
It might make it more difficult. Crashies on the attack, you know, some would say plays a crucial role.
Pivotal.
And now they'll have to make up for that lack of information, which, as we've sort of stated when it comes to this map, is certainly not ideal. Cloud's going to play for the orb. He thinks maybe he can get that res off a little bit later. I guess he's going to be our planter. And he steps away, stomps away so Alpha can get the strike onto Sagetsu. Lovely strategy. And the Spike's even reconsidering this push towards the B side. I don't know if that's because of the pick or because they realized the chamber trip is there.
Again, we see this push up, though, from the defense. Narrate, he did go for that operator, but he's playing it very differently. This time with a trap on that B connector means that they can rotate to the other side. Cloud was walking with a wall out, and because of that, Levin's off angle. It wasn't traded properly.
30 seconds
They had
left.
no idea that anybody could be in that corner, and that's a massive mistake. The walkthrough, though, from Alfie, it might have just saved them. It's given them away onto the site, but Aves, again, good positioning. Sat back and catches Boaster with the C's. Now having that man advantage to swing in already, and he has no idea that that player could just be coming from behind. But Boaster's timing, it's going to be everything here. He's being flanked. He's missed the player in the smoke by a millisecond. Half a second is all it took, and the timing again from KC is spot on. Both peaking him at the exact same moment.
I mean, Narrate is putting his all into this game now. 13-13, another overtime between these squads. And from the game that we've seen so far, I'm actually happy that we get to keep seeing OTs, because it does feel like each team is now starting to get in the groove of how this map is played out. Except for maybe Cloud at the start there.
So awkward.
But it is so many little corners. And if you're going to play with that wall to try to instantly get in, to try to instantly... oh my god. Zace looks like he hasn't felt happiness in years. He looks like the dopamine receptors shut off long ago. Just staring blank at the screen as they push the OT again.
That was like the Pedro Pascal meme in the car.
Yeah, literally. He's our Nick Cage. Well, overtime number 2. And for KC, an AWP this time in the hands of Narrate. That's going to be a nasty surprise if
maybe
Boaster
not.
wasn't quick enough to jump peek it.
He is alone, though. He's completely alone, but maybe that doesn't matter. Caught with util in hand. Wall to section things off. A chance for Cloud to fight this back. That spike drop. Now he has support. Narrate just waiting on the angle, but instead he knows at this point that's an unwinnable fight. 2 players to the backside, and they need to try and reset this. Levin is the dagger in the dark. Does Crashies even consider that there could be a player here, or does Levin even go in that direction? He's just going to hold on to this ground, but I feel like if this ends up in more of a retake scenario, it could be a problem. Or if Crashies times this right, he might catch both. He's going to hear all the steps. That's enough to know that they're going that way. And in fact, oh, he's missing it by a millisecond each time. That's the spike. If he drops that player, it's a huge problem for KC. But instead, he's just biding his time perfectly, denies the plan, and doesn't even need to fight Aves. He knows it because his teammates will arrive. They cleared Levin, no problem at all. And Crashies, it might be just a singular kill, but that singular kill was perfect.
He is so lucky that he had a Phantom there, not a Vandal. The 2 shots he fired down mid, I think he might have hit his keyboard. If that was a Vandal, I even saw them ping that angle that he came from. They were worried about it, but not worried enough, evidently. Someone please take the wall off Cloud. It's 2 rounds in a row. He ran out there, not a care in the world. Looked at the angle twice. They could have swung him at any moment. Didn't care. Didn't even think about it. Someone tells that man to wall somewhere, and I respect it. He's going to do it. He doesn't care what's. It's like watching Hacksaw.
He takes so much ground that then it's a problem because they can stack up the other side of the map. So it almost feels like an evil for Fnatic that needs to be dealt with.
Well, the problem last time as well was the guy who got caught out was Crashies. And on the attack side, you lose yourself that fade, and it leads to maybe a player
He's done
in
it
the corner
again. That
getting
was
2
the same
kills.
spam.
That's Kayak this time. It's a little bit easier to lose him, but
Is it?
I don't think it's going to be easy for
The
Fnatic.
guy that slides into the site and takes their aim away.
I'd still rather have the fade utility.
Who's he dogging for?
That's it. For himself, perhaps. Certainly not for Alpha here. That's another spam
Oh, no,
from
there's the
KC
Prowler.
successfully found.
There you go. They are not here.
That's good info. Now, what do we do on this corner?
He's got another
You just have
Prowler.
to face it, though, because Prowler you kind of need for the site. Like, it's the problem is that you're
Or do that.
always in a bad
Yeah.
position in terms of the utility. You always have to take a risk, but that risk is paid off. That one, not so much. Great shot from Narrate. He'll be blocked out from any more impact.
Oh, is Boaster? I thought Boaster was about to go through and try and fight him. They need to find a footing in this round, though. That's what becomes tougher. A singular start. Still in pocket.
Oh,
However, just
Crashies.
flying. If Crashies kills him off, there's an
Player
opportunity,
standing.
but he loses the fight. And now Boaster has to fight versus 4. Sure, 2 of them are low, but they can almost just run in and give the information of where he is. There's nowhere left to go. Hit by every piece of utility that was remaining in the belt. Somehow yet to take damage. There's one, but anything more, an impossibility. They narrowed out the angles, and okay, this one isn't flawless, but it still seems fairly comfortable for KC. 14-14. It might just be an attack side round that ends up being the decisive factor in this map.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it for now. But for KC, how can they keep getting away with this? 2 smokes to start the round off that they spam straight through and end up with massive advantages. When we talk about this defensive side, Narrate being the problem, being the issue, that operator could be anywhere at any moment, even in the most aggressive positions, because he can TP back out.
14-14.
Fans are gonna love you for that one.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, big game from Narrate. On the other side, it's Crashies. 23 kills. Where have they come from? He's had some good rounds, but the consistency must be contributing a lot here.
Had a big clutch as well.
Yeah, he did. A very good game.
Both teams have now taken, well, in Fnatic's case, multiple pauses to try and get that final attack round. KC have taken one here. That's where both teams have been eluded. And well, everything for now screams a take towards that A site, which at least for now is the more stacked up, but we know that KC are more than happy to try and play with those rotations.
Yeah, they might have shown that earlier on in the game. A couple of fakes here and there.
That was about 2
in the
weeks
same
ago.
round. Kayak, that same spot Levin's been playing from. A stun, buys a little bit of time, and he'll reposition for the fight. Oh! Sugetsu! Man down for KC, and it's gone from bad to worse as Kayak shows up again. Levin all alone, but it's okay, because Kayak comes to join him. In zone flawless for Fnatic in another attack round. Lost.
Take the pause. Other team wins in zone flawless. I feel like I've seen that one before. We're just in an infinite loop of rounds, but this one was different because it was a Kayak pop-off. He's had an okay game so far. He's had a moment or two, but I don't think any quite match up to the pure dominance we just saw in that round. And
oh my goodness.
wish it was me.
Well, I'm free after this. 15-14. Fnatic with a chance to close it. All they have to do is figure out the attack. More specifically, all they have to do is not get spammed through smoke twice in the first 20 seconds, and then they're off to a great start.
As we saw, Zaish's plan went perfectly. But can they still continue what has been just an infinite streak of defensive side rounds? Funnily enough, it seems like Fnatic have the same idea as their opponents. Try and take some of that control. It's another bait and switch, though, from the defense. They've left Dosia in this corner. Instead, it seems he's just going to smoke the angle off. Fnatic, in the meantime, have gone back the other way, but there's a trap waiting. And Aves as well.
Sees, has caught Kayak, so it will slow the push. It'll remove that neon wall as well. And the Prowler down on Fnatic's side with none left to play with. So a bit blind in the walkout. That's perfect for Narrate. Oh, but he's missed the shot. Shot straight through the two of them, and now Cloud's the one to find a double. The man who could have been dead to rights, his eyebrows shaved a moment ago. But instead, it's a 5 versus 3, damage done to Levin, and it looks like the attack side might finally have been figured out.
Well, hold your horses. There's still an opportunity.
There.
Dosia versus Crashies. The Crashies maybe just deciding to back out, and they know he calls for reinforcements, and through the wall, another body hits the floor, leaves Sugetsu and Levin. Chances seem minimal, and Alfia is still fighting, even on 4 HP. He's had enough of Summit for the day. And while Levin, there is no way out of this corner. You can pad the stats. He doesn't even have enough bullets to kill everybody. It's Fnatic and an in-zone flawless to close out the game. 16-14, our first map of Summit. I don't know if any regions had a closer first map than that. Yeah. Each other on it when it came down to the EWC qualifiers, but even that wasn't like crazy dominant. I think it was 13-10 to Fnatic, so clearly they've been workshopping and feel very comfortable on this map. I think Cloud on the KO makes a lot of sense, but I don't think this is a death sentence by any stretch of the imagination for KC.
You certainly wouldn't imagine so. It was a very close first map. The pick of Fnatic, sure, but as you said, not somewhere KC have exactly been slouches already. The defense has a good read. They've rotated 4 players towards this B site. But Fnatic have sent Boaster out to contain this mid and A space. He's seen nothing, and well, if you're making that pressure and seeing no reaction, it's likely that they've stacked up. So Fnatic will take it the other way, at least for now. We've seen a lot of willingness to play slow rounds and try to challenge for that control, but Narrate upset the rhythm a little bit. Great reswing from Cloud, though. He was sitting tucked away, didn't get blinded, and pounced just in time to save Crashies, who's now on 6 HP.
I guess if you've watched the way your opponents like to play, having anti-flash spots like that are going to be very important. 35 seconds left, though. Had to fire off that paranoia a little bit earlier, and running back through would have a risk about it. Kayak, though, has dealt with Dosia with relative ease, and the remaining 3 players not within the site. It's going to have to be a full 3v5 retake, and there is not a lot of utility. In fact, not any utility to play with.
I must wait. Last player.
Well, the dry swings go about as well as you'd expect. Big round from Cloud, and Fnatic 1-0. The pistol under their belt. And we saw the stats there. I think KC were doing slightly better when it came to pistol rounds, but that's going to take a knock to the statistics for sure. And it really is Cloud at the start of this round, avoiding giving them an early pick, and I think more importantly, avoiding having Narrate with an opening pick and alive in the late round. Still with a flash to play with as well.
I got you pistol. I got you pistol, Jake.
Well, Cloud's a modest man, to say the least, but he did get them the pistol. Big round from Cloud.
3 kills and an assist, you know, it's fair enough.
Yeah, he did a lot of the work there, and he kept Crashies alive.
Oh, we saw a second round victory in the last map. I'm hoping we're not going to see another.
A very different circumstance, though.
Now the push-up is not badly timed. There's not anything holding on to this position, so a lot of gamble stacked towards the B site. How much damage can they hope to do? Oh, they're going to go back and try and go for Crashies instead. A couple of tags, not ideal, but Levin's going to win the initial fight. First kill goes the way of that defense, but this is where Fnatic realize in the mid-round, okay, if they push that far up, have they now given up control of the A site altogether? And wow, their gamble is correct.
Yeah, it's a nice paranoia from Boaster as well, that even if Narrate had a flash and was ready to swing out of that smoke, anyone in there is completely negated, pushed back by the paranoia, and they'll make it to the A site. Fnatic, good patchwork in this round, realizing the aggression had come in down mid, down through A main, and so that site's probably easier to take through the spawn. Now it should be a formality, but Crashies and Boaster already tagged, and it's Crashies
I don't like this
59
angle.
HP with a rifle in the open. There is no fallback. There is no retreat. He is dead after the first fight. The question is, how many can he get? And with only one, this is a very dangerous round. And I thought different circumstances would see Fnatic find much safer ground to stand and fight from. Yet we end up in a 1v1. A painful round for Fnatic, but they've just about gotten it over the line.
Yeah, I think low on HP with a rifle, that position is wild. Maybe that was the gamble that nobody would check this because of how ridiculous it was, but yeah, that felt like an unnecessary risk up against the pistols. Luckily, Kayak just basically made that look like a montage as he'll come out with a multitude of frags, put himself 5-0.
Just.
Just indeed.
Just about.
I love it. You almost win on a full eco, and Zaysh looks like you've just thrown the round. The guy is so positive in real life. You put him in a coaching booth, and his demons take over.
It's a stressful job.
It absolutely is. And I think facing off against Aang, now with a map under his belt, even more so.
I think as well, now that we've seen some good from KC, pressure is on. People start to believe maybe that road to champions this year is more of a likelihood. And well, Narrate started off well. In fact, the information they've got is incredible. And he's locking them in already on a flank, making it so there's nowhere left for them to go. They could run back through their own spawn if they wanted to. But other than that, they are boxed into middle.
Well, when push comes to shove, KC will be more than ready to answer this call. Kayak won't survive the first engagement. The push through the smoke from Levin finds the spike. It's all onto Alpha. 1 against 5, and well, you'd like to get out of here with some damage done, but that is not possible. 4 players spamming into his angle, and with so many left alive, of course, it's an in-zone flawless for KC. Big moneymaker round coming into round 3.
Yeah, I think it's an important one. Like, you lose a very close map, your map choice as well. You come into a map that ultimately you're comfortable on, but I think having a round like that really sort of wakes you up. Of course, it was, I want to say somewhat of a bonus, because I think it was 4 rifles in the last.
Yeah.
But they still have a
buy.
buy in this one, but it's got a couple of Guardians in the mix.
Yeah, the last buy was arguably better for them. This time they do come in with the Guardians, as you said, so it is a full 5 rifles technically, but they had 4 big rifles in the previous. It was a buy round for all intents and purposes when it comes to how it played out, and, well, Fnatic getting nothing done is definitely worrying for KC. That's exactly what they need. Early performance. Showing up, Alpha not lost any confidence. He stepped with the Guardian into B main to look for a fight, but he's decided to back off. Not going to overextend, but towards this A side, there might not be much of a choice. This flash from Narrate coming in as the smoke fades, and they have caught everybody with it. Beautiful work from KC. Great flash from Narrate, and the paranoia to guarantee the space. Good return by Cloud. He is much closer than he knows to getting that kill, but it won't matter.
Narrate manages to hold on to control of the spike, but he is now dealt with by Althea. Boaster's position is an interesting one. I don't know if Levin's going to expect it. He's looking towards main. Okay, that's the moment the realization comes through, and unfortunately for Boaster, he's not long for this world.
30 seconds
18 HP. Dart through, and while Althea felt like he needed to take a risk, and instead he has delivered the spike like a birthday present, left it on the floor.
And closed the door behind him as well.
Yeah. It's about as good as it gets.
They have gifted the spike over, but as you said, right, 2v3, Boaster's on a sliver of health. You have to make a play there. We feel like you have to at least. Doesn't work out for Fnatic this time, and good kill by Boaster to get out. It will secure 1 rifle. But that's 2 rounds in a row for KC, and with the big investment from Fnatic into round 3, I think that's going to push the limits and break the bank for this squad. Indeed it is.
Yeah, there wasn't much additional to play with. It seems like maybe they'll be able to have that singular rifle for Kayak. But other than that, it's not going to be a particularly pretty purchase. And from what was a crushing defeat in the last, just for how close it was, and the pistol not going their way, KC don't look phased at all. with what was a very solid defensive side versus GX. They're looking for more of the same.
Running back put in by Narrate, but he'll be dealt with right away. Still, it's allowed some players to flood in behind that wall, 11 being one of them. He's finding his first pickup at that reveal. Has caught him, luckily. Aves there to help out. That's spam as good as it gets. It seems to be KC's specialty. Although they won't be able to serve Alpha up today. He's avoided the flambe, but 5 HP left.
Last player standing.
Yeah, it wasn't like he was sticking around too much longer. Aves with his triple. Hunter's Fury is online for the next, and it's clean as can be.
Yeah, I've seen some people with some really good graphic settings that are able to do the things that Aves does, but honestly, that is just impressive with how consistent he is spamming through those smokes, especially after 11 went down. I was a little bit worried, but comfortable stuff in the end. Credits really starting to build for the defensive side. They'll have a bye at least into the round after round 6, even if they are to lose it. But this is where Fnatic come back in with the bye, and they have a multitude of ultimates to play with. Okay, sure, some of them can be traded out by the players on the other side, but I think especially that Hunter's Fury always makes things a little bit more awkward for the side trying to defend.
Well, both players having them, no surprise for Aves. 9 and 2. He's going to pop it early. He's getting it on so quickly, why not? But doesn't look too good. There's a double tag to close it out, though. Cloud and Kayak both very, very low. And that's value enough for a blind Hunter's Fury.
Yeah, I think especially Kayak feels like a bigger problem. He's normally the one that has to break the lines of the defensive side, and him being tagged. Oh, and now him being tagged even lower makes that an incredibly big issue. 40 seconds left on the clock as Fnatic now look to explore towards middle. The B split potentially there with Alfia still holding on to main control. Now we're going to see that KO put into play. That'll remove the utility, but he's already on the ground.
A couple of picks go back here for KC. And they keep on going. Aves finding a lot of damage, and with Kayak and Crash, he's so desperately low. Oh, and the damage done to Cloud.
Oh my god.
This is ridiculous. Fnatic are barely surviving as KC thrive in the spam battle.
Oh, no.
The plant's at least
Not
to be
the
found, but now
overdrive.
this ult. This is an insta-kill on any of these players. A laser that will take them down. 4-2 for KC. That's a wonderful retake, but again, I don't know how Aves is getting so much done.
Well, it's crazy because you look at this round, one player, I think, got 2 kills and probably did about, what, 300 damage? The other player got 3 kills and did about 45 damage. Just running around at the end with everybody being so desperately low. You also have to bear in mind the initial damage was done by a Hunter's Fury. Do you know what? Aves might have done about 400 damage and got 2 kills.
Yeah, I think that might be pretty close to reality. The fact is, like, that Hunter's Fury blind, it's often
he's 11 and
a big mistake, but they found his value there. And later on for KC, they've got to be on cloud 9. Different
Oh,
org,
hope
but
not.
let's take a listen in and see how things are going for this squad in the anti-eco.
They smoke him one.
I'm gonna sit on B.
Mid.
You're gonna
Guys,
drown, maybe.
take a split. It was just full pressure on B.
I'm picking slowly. I don't see.
One tiles.
One was about around South Bros.
Yeah, one mid should be. One mid
I
still.
block it trap on B.
You're gonna drone. I'll pick him.
Two dead.
One main.
Yeah, it's okay, I see it.
I'm not helping you.
I was one top mid.
One HP, Cypher.
You wanna peek him?
Let's pick 3, 2.
I'm holding top mid, guys.
Remaining.
I'm gonna push link.
He's probably main or...
I have main, guys. You cannot cross. Only on you can be.
Nice!
Nice job, insane.
Okay, this time,
Well,
In
the vibes
zone
are-
flawless.
Yeah, the vibes are immaculate, and look, if you go out of an in-zone flawless with anything but that, we've certainly got a problem. A 5-2 scoreline now, and most importantly, 5 rounds in a row for KC. They faced off against a double bio to start this streak, and they made it look easy. This obviously being an anti-eco, but there's been a bit too much success from this squad, and I'm surprised to not see Fnatic calling for a timeout. going into round number 8, 5-2 down. They're happy that the players have the right ideas.
5-2 down on their own map choice, and other than the pistol in second round, it hasn't looked particularly close. 4 ultimates online, but they haven't had too many opportunities to use them. Losing players early has been a problem, and just look at the amount of information Levin's already going to get. He's walked all the way up B main. That means they can stack up players over on that A site, and again have this 1-2 punch potential trap setup. He's going to walk. Oh, you're a lucky, lucky boy, Crashies. You walked back at the perfect moment, but does he then go that a little bit further forward? No, the drone is actually going to sell the potential of a B hit and even pull Aves back towards this side of the map, but the other 3 have not moved.
And now they've heard that they made the right call. This play coming in, Narrate doesn't know where that TP just came in from. Boaster being able to find one, but Narrate still flying under the radar. Luckily, the trade comes in quick. Great flash from Cloud. Got him through that smoke. Back to the spike. If he goes down, there'll be trouble aplenty. Waiting, though, is Cloud as Alpha sneaks his way up top as Crashies waits to catch them on that rotate. But now, the spike falling. Hunter's Fury will be deployed, and Doja won't make it out of there. It's left to 1. Levin up against Crashies. He's already dealt with Alphayer and the reposition.
He baited the steps. He baited the steps.
Ready for him to swing up top, but 12 seconds left. I mean, Crashies has to go, and he has no idea that victory was just around the corner. Victory turns to death as KC find 6 in a row.
Oh, I thought he'd played it perfectly. I genuinely thought he knew exactly where he was when he baited those steps. I was like, oh, genius, and then just didn't check the window. There's the one spot that went under the radar, and that's a little bit more damning with what was a good round from Crashies, a lurk into a Hunter's Fury that kills off a player, but that last low man standing.
Let's go!
And the momentum continuing for KC. 6 rounds in a row. That this looks like a KC pick from what we're seeing right now.
Well, especially considering that they lost the pistol and follow-up. And they were close, and then they came through against 2 full buys back-to-back, and they weren't close. They were dominant for KC, especially the first one was incredibly dominant for KC. All the wind in their sails and filling them fully. It's Fnatic who have to find their way back in. They've gone for a buy. They've gone down to their last credits to make this happen. After the timeout, something has to change.
Oh, it's a bait. They're baiting to try and give Sugetsu an angle. It's one that you'd expect to see, but I like what Levin is doing. The re-aggression timing is perfect, though. The second time they've done that, and Boaster is gone. Alfia trying to fill in the gaps. That's a wonderful shot. Dosia even predicted that he would be there. Now Levin's been dealt with on the other side. Even still, though, it ends up even. A top mid push that they have to be careful of. They've been flanked before. And maybe Aves was almost just working as a distraction, but they are watching for Narrate. Good prediction from Cloud in this round. And now it's all on to Sugetsu. He had 1 kill in the first 8 rounds. If he wants to keep the streak going, he needs to end with 4.
Spike planted.
Well, Sugetsu has the ult to at least grab some information, and, well, that was a bit of an awkward time to have your knife out. Luckily, there's only a half check by Crash. He's now falling back to the site. The high-low should be in play, and Sugetsu will find it impossible. It's a low-low setup instead. You said we needed to see something from Cloud, Tom. How's that?
Yeah, no, good round from him. Like I said, he won them the pistol, which basically gives you the second round, although it was dangerously close. And then he's won them the next round that they won after the pause. So it's interesting. This has been a case at times for Fnatic where the player standing in can have some of these standout performances. I think Bekaj regularly
Good job, boys. That's
had
it. That's what we need.
standout performances. But can they now build off that? Because I don't think that if they come out with, say, 5 rounds on this attack, that's not really too much of a problem. But if this ends 9-3, I'd be damned to believe that KC aren't going to be able to close that out.
I'll run it back online for KC. If this is where you want to bounce back for Fnatic, it's probably not the ultimate you want to look across the side and see. The fact that Narrate, especially in the last map, was phenomenal. The Trailblazer. And now there's 2 of them, or potentially, at least. A minute on the clock, and Fnatic, well, it's not surprising that they're being very cautious towards A main. This is somewhere that's being pushed consistently by KC, but finally it's time to go.
Oh, the spam not quite meeting, and they've dealt with Narrate. That's a risky no-scope attempt that ends up with Lever going down. The spams
Spike planted.
aren't going to stop that plant from coming in. Flash seemed like it was to try and push someone into a spammable corner. Instead, that piece of utility now gone, but there's another ready for Narrate if he needs it. The flank has been spotted as well, so Fnatic know that those back angles are safe. That spam, though, has helped a lot. Crashy's still stood in the corner. He's trying to be the snake in the grass, but again, Aves just spams. He's so good at finding players through the smoke, and now Narrate drops Cloud. This is falling apart. The defusal already began. They need to start spamming. They need to stop them from defusing. The swing out, and it's enough from Althea. A Red Bull clutch to give them another round. It's too close for comfort, but luckily, they had Alpha.
How close was that? That felt like I thought he didn't have time anymore. I thought the defuse was done until the shot landed. Incredibly close. Alpha's cover there kept Boaster alive, but 0.48 of a second. Down to the wire, but for Fnatic,
please listen to each other, okay? Let's go. A little bit.
It was just close enough, and that could be the round that gets them right back on the saddle, 6-4. Cloud calling for them to play together. If they can do that, we might be neck and neck at the half. Who's seen that before?
Camera taken out.
Yeah, it feels a bit different on this map. 6 rounds in a row for KC. If it would end 6-6, I think they'd be bitterly disappointed, especially on that defensive side where I think we've seen both teams thrive. I think it would put the favor firmly to Fnatic. And this buy definitely not the best. Another risky peek from Levin, but it also gives an awful lot of info. It seems like they're going to try and challenge Dosia, but he's just looking to try and slow them down. Oh, of course, weaponry for him is still pretty decent. The pistol that was shown might be a ruse. Althea again, having to try and bail them out of trouble. He's turned this back to a 3v3, and the attack have decided maybe another avenue is better.
Well, Alpha might just have a freebie. They're walking right up into his crosshair, but an uncharacteristic miss and whiff as Aves puts them into the advantage. Defensive side, well, pressure on a Narrate, a bookie, and a classic, all he has to work with. But Aves on the sides got the big gun, got the reveal to help him out. Well, not going to help anyone out. Narrate's dead to rights, and the door's closing on Aves. But before it does, Cloud taps his toes away.
10 seconds left.
Sugetsu again. He's had to play retake simulator a lot of this game. The B-site pushes haven't happened too often, or if they have, it hasn't been him dealing the kills, but the first one is so quick. Again, it's another round that Cloud is almost single-handedly winning for Fnatic. It was Althea to start and then him to close. 12-9 at the moment, and it's only Aves, who is 18-6 right now, that stands above him. But I can't believe we're actually in a spot where Fnatic now go into this next round with an opportunity to leave this half level.
Last player standing.
I really didn't think it was possible for them to end up level at this half. Like, the last 3 have been remarkable from Fnatic, and considering KC have had nothing but success before that when it comes to buy rounds, and there were plenty of them, this recovery has been sensational, and a lot of it is Cloud. Like you said, I think 4 of the 5 rounds I'll put down almost single-handedly to that man. Maybe he's needed one more time to put us level. Hunter's Fury online for Aves. That could be a big problem. Last time, he took over the round on the back of this ult.
He's taken over a lot of rounds. He's had an insane map so far, and I think this more free, loose style of calling is helping him out a lot specifically. Either way, though, the attack side maybe finally about to make a move towards that B site. And Levin just walks out into the open. I think he even caught Althea off guard. Now maybe just seeing Althea was enough to make them believe initially it was just a lurk. Instead, though, catching a second player. As Crashy's gone, he's been having a rough one. Breaking the trip and now moving their way back towards the A site. 30 seconds left. A trap set up there once more with a flash, just waiting around the corner. They know, they have an idea. The narrate is there and clear him with ease, in fact, but they need a little bit more. Abbas versus Boaster, the IGLs, and it's Boaster to come out on top, but Dosia's still here. He makes it should be impossible to plant, but never mind. Cloud again, and he's removed the ultimate from Levin as well. Another saving grace from the new buy on the block, but not this time. Levin will make sure at least KC will go in with a lead. But let's be real, Mitch, it should have been a much bigger lead than this.
This should have been a much more convincing half indeed. 6 rounds in a row, coming off the back of winning round 3, of dealing with 2 full buys, of hammering Fnatic into the ground. This looked like a dominant scoreline. But for Fnatic, there is still hope. And with a man like Crashy's on the team, of course there is. We sat down with him before the game and had a little chat. Why don't you take a look at it during the halftime?
Crashy. I'm here.
Disappointing. It looked like this should have been a lot better. And remember, with Fnatic climbing back into the game, well, they only need one more map to close this out. The threat and the pressure applied onto KC. I think we saw that again in the coaching camp.
Yeah, pistol here. If anything would give Fnatic the advantage. I think both teams have showed that the defensive side is the one that's favored. In fact, last time when Fnatic beat KC, it was a good defensive side half. And a lot of that comes down to a B-site hold from Alpha. He's been fantastic on it. Well, this could give Cloud a few assists if anybody dies, because he has just caught the entirety of the team with a knife. I've just watched a player push spawn and not die. How did Levin get away with that? I'm almost certain they saw him. There you go, final boss himself. He's going to be the only defender. He's dodged the paranoia. But there's so many people calming down. Help from a teammate. Gave an opportunity. And this is why you don't run towards the B site. Luckily, Narrate makes sure it doesn't go any further. Because for a second, I thought Althea was about to kill them all.
Paranoia from Boaster really helped him out to refocus, to take down Sugetsu, who, yeah, we obviously said about Crashy's 3 kills in the first half. Pretty tough. A tough start to this pistol, but Sugetsu's been in that same boat. It's a guy who was showing up in some really important rounds for KC, looking back to Summit. And on Ascent, the Cypher on the defense, well, Alpha's just done everything Sugetsu did in the first half in one round.
That's not very nice.
It's true.
It is. It can be both.
Actually, no, he hasn't done anything. He didn't die 8 times.
Right. Anyway, moving on. It's an important pistol for KC. After letting that half slip away, I think they're going to know that this will be the tougher of the two. Of course, you've got your double duelist. You've got Narrate that can farm up those orbs. And I think this stage, and even over just the last couple of months, I think that Narrate has really gone back into the form that we saw from him a couple of years ago when he joined KC. So I'm very excited to see this attack side from him specifically. But it is the tougher of the two sides. I think it always has been. And for Fnatic, although the deficit is incredibly likely to be 4 rounds, I don't think it's out of reach.
It's been such a big game from Abaz as well. 2 blind Hunter's Furies that found huge value. One with damage, one with a little bit of damage, but more so the information of where the secret play was coming through.
Here.
He's been crucial. That was even the pick, wasn't it, on the Crashes? So it was massively impactful Hunter's Furies. Big rounds from him, 20 and 8, I believe, at the moment. No, he didn't quite. Oh, he did eat the shock dart. Never mind. It looked like he was far enough away, but no. Must have got caught by the edge of it. Levin in there for a few, and without shields, they're usually as free as can be when hit by that Marshall. A 1 versus 3 with Alpha alive, though. This could definitely still end up being costly for KC.
Single kill for Narrate. The Marshall kills got the majority, and now Marshall looks for a kill to get his ult. And that might be the reason that Althea is being a little bit more passive. I think anybody else getting an ultimate orb is absolutely fine, but you do not want to allow Narrate to have the run it back without having to pick up an ultimate orb. At least you have a chance to deny But as you can see, it will just be him going down to the spike.
I like the run, the sprint towards the side at the end, so maybe someone sticks around if they hear it, oh, he's coming to defuse, and then they go down to the spike. It's a tiny detail, but yeah, it hasn't worked out. 9-5 for KC. This pistol has given them enough of a gap now that a couple of mistakes can be made, and they will still have their lead, still being with a chance of bringing us to map 3 of Split. To be honest, between these two teams, between these two coaches, I do want to see that map. But I'll tell you what, Fnatic most certainly don't. They want to make a deep run here with a 2-0 start, not just in the map, but in the series as well, so they can set themselves up to make it all the way to the Stage 2 finals in Barcelona. And that's right, you guys can join us there. Scan the QR code to get yourself a ticket, or just go back in the VOD and you'll see it. It'll be up there later on today as well for KC. Double digits is what they're after, and the buy, it's not that bad.
Oh, it's an incredibly good bonus round. They'll still be able to buy into the next Althea. It looks like he wants to try and get a little bit cheeky. He knows there's a lot of players around this corner. And Abez, as said, it just seems like he pulls off miracles the second there is something in his path, which makes no sense. The defense, though, have traded, and timing is going to be everything. Bear in mind, that is the spike in the hands of Abez. But instead, it'll be Narrate to lead the charge, run it back. Can hope to try and clear some of these more aggressive angles, but everybody, bar one, has fallen back.
This is position from Levin. Now they're starting to go back and suspect something like this is a full cancel of the... Oh, that's beautiful. Levin's caught him with a knife out and almost took down Kayak as well. Got a chance to strike, but with him falling, the A site was no longer the target. And Sugetsu has made B much easier to get into. Now, they don't have any smokes here, and so they're going to have to fight on the way past, but Boaster gets nothing done, and that flash, well, let's say it blinded Kayak.
+1.
At least one.
Well, if you get the kill, you get the kill. It doesn't matter. The push and pull is definitely interesting. I feel like KC, when they saw Levin's position, were on a full rotate, though. Like, that wasn't a ruse, because you could see where the spike is currently going, even in that little shot of the map. It was all the way back in the spawn. And then Sugetsu gets the kill, and they go, actually, B-site seems a little bit more open.
Nice! Woo!
They're starting to believe again, and yet 10-5 up. Zay
one of them is starting to believe.
It looks like he is having the worst day of his life every time we cut to him. Double the rounds of Fnatic, pushed them onto an eco, but he's not happy yet. Not till he sees 13 up top. And I mean,
I don't think he'll be happy until Split is over and they've won.
Well, yeah. Well, he might not be happy at all then. We'll see.
Poster. And he's going to get cleared. Cloud trying to re-aggress. All right, then. Levin's decided this round's his. Well, Crashies would need impeccable timing. Speaking of impeccable timing, Althea had done well, but it's gone very good, but at that sort of range, unlikely. And in-zone flawless as KC build up their streak once again. We saw this in the last half as well. It was 6 rounds in a row. Now they're on 5 rounds in a row. Just 2 away from closing out Fnatic's map pick. A map pick that, as said, like, you look at the 2 games we've seen, a 15-13 win for them versus GX. KC beat them 13-4. Maybe that called some things into...
Blindly doing a ton of damage as well. It feels like he has stepped up to another level, and I do think a lot of that is just the responsibility being lifted from his shoulders.
Yeah,
a little bit.
He even said that anybody can pitch ideas, he gets to say yes or no. That means he's not having to just focus on everything that's going on. Whereas we know that Bosa's style is very much like being the sort of mantle of the team, which benefits a lot of his players, but individually doesn't normally benefit him.
I do wonder if things will change now that Cloud's on the roster as well. Someone who has a lot of experience IGLing. I want to see him be another voice in that choir, harmonizing with Boaster. His attempt to take deep space from Levin. And to be fair, they're respecting him for now at least, giving him a lot of space to play with up there. It's because Boaster wants to stab in the side, but, well, this wraparound is, oh, well, I was going to say expected. That jump from Levin showed it wasn't.
Again, pause seemingly making the difference. We saw this in the last half. It was maybe a bit later than we expected it to be. Well, you know, you got to try and be sneaky sometimes, but for Dosia, that leaves him on just 6 HP. This round, I was going to say, looks firmly in the favor of Fnatic, but again, Avis has just been impeccable. Now they try and swing into Narrate. Okay, utility's gone, but when it comes down to raw aim, it feels like nobody can match up to KC in their current form, and Fnatic definitely have to be a little bit more careful going in for this retake.
Boaster's taking the operator. Play this a bit slower, but more importantly to give Kayak the ability to get right in there through Heaven, and that's exactly where he's going. The rest of the squad through the door. They'll draw the eye. Cloud first to find a pick, and Aves down below, waiting for Narrate to emerge from the smoke, but there's enemies at the gates, and they've been shut out! Aves reaching another level here today. He has gone godlike, 25-8. Jeez, yeah, just bring Split on, man. At this point, Aves has earned it.
The crazy thing as well is when they tap the spike, I was like, oh, he's dead to rights. He's looking the wrong way, but somehow he gets both kills. Like, sure, you have to look at the Fnatic players and go, okay, if he's looking the wrong way on one of those fights, how are you not getting him? But hey, everybody seems to be hitting for the side of KC, and Aves is having a performance of a lifetime. 12-5, 25 kills for the IGL. Meanwhile, for Fnatic, a map choice that they may live to forget or regret, whichever way you look at it.
Oh, that drone is not broken, but Under's Fury from Aves. He's found himself a pick on the Kayak. Not like that's a big player for Fnatic or anything. It has been a rough game for him, a rough map at least. Fnatic need a hero to show up soon, or this story's going all the way to the final chapter.
I think we might already be there. I've always spoken about Fnatic comebacks, but there's been nothing to really make me believe this is going to be the case. Might work for Boaster. Alpha yet swing onto it as well. It's done incredibly well. Dosia was hoping to be a little bit sneaky, and you know, he's won that fight in the end. Desperately low on HP, and the spike, I'll be real, I'm not sure there's too many worse positions on the map.
Not looking.
But yeah, timing here is going to be everything. 11 spots him, that's one. Down to a 2 versus 2. Time is ticking away. That's the main issue that we currently have for the side of KC. 15 seconds, but Levin can make that run.
Door open? Yeah, door's open. He gets there easily. He'll get that plant in before they can even make it out. Giving up the spike they were holding, hoping time would be a little bit too costly for KC. That could have been Doja down and Levin alone. And in fact, it would have been the round. But Doja still drawing breath. A man who had some incredible rounds on Summit and now steps up to new heights. But Cloud is hunting him down, and he'll find him before the TP is completed. One more round for Fnatic, but 6 in a row needed to bring us to overtime.
And you can see that nobody on the KC side is sweating whatsoever. Cloud is definitely...
I bet Zash is.
Okay, yeah, I mean, the players, they look relaxed. Zash never looks relaxed, so that's, you know, that's fine. I'm hoping we're not going to cut to a facepalm from him, because I feel like at this scoreline that would be pretty outrageous.
Punch the monitor.
Why didn't you win the 1v2 on 30 health? See?
That was a good attempt.
Fairly chill.
It's a good attempt at it. No, but for sure, the vibes on KC have got to be immaculate. 6 rounds in a row for Fnatic. It's too tall a task for most teams. But if anyone was to do it, it won't be this team.
That's weird to say. I'm not seen as much of that magic. The last map definitely had some of it. The crashies clutch, the 4K from Kayak. Some of the aggressive plays we saw from Alpha, yeah. But this map, a lot of those players have fallen quiet, and well, more so, a lot of them have been silenced. Boaster's position is being watched avidly, and immediately eliminated. Hunter's Fury, an attempt made, but nothing. And while Levin, he's being left behind almost just to try and sell a ruse. The rest of the team are heading their way towards that B site. As said, there's normally a reason that people avoid this side of the map. Alfia's B site hold at times is legendary. And they may need it to be once again. Look at the current positions of the Fnatic defenders. It doesn't even need to be a ruse sold by Levin, but he's selling it anyway.
He's been spotted. And yet still, if he walked right now, he'd have a backstab on Kayak. They thought he was in main. The door closed, the ruse sold, but Kayak shut him down, and Alpha's still waiting. 8 seconds, just needs to drop the spike, but he can't get it done. Whoa, that's a risky reposition. That's a very risky reposition, and he'll live to regret it, if not for a quick shot from Sagetsu. Kayak got in there with a second to spare. Everyone's going to be playing football before the game.
Exactly. I'm very excited to see this comp from Fnatic, though. Alfia are on the Neon. It's not something you get to see too often. Kayak back on Yoru, or at least right now, not seeing it at all. So they've clearly been cooking. They've got some ideas, but is this going to be Fnatic reinventing the wheel and people about to start copying? Or is this going to be a complete failure? It's not gone great to the start. 11 on the raise. Well, okay. That was an interesting choice after getting 2 kills.
Levin is known for interesting choices, if you'd like to put it lightly. For KC, a man down, but a lunatic down. Fnatic haven't recovered this round just yet. Cloud is clearing the spawn as we speak, making sure that there's no big flanks coming through. Now make sure there's no little flanks coming through. And then he might be in a good position to catch these players when they come down ramp.
It's all going to be on timing. It seems like the opposing side have a good idea. There could still be someone behind, but now he's all that's left. Of Adosia, that means he can just hightail it towards the site. Start that defusal. Force Cloud into a more awkward fight. He needs this kill almost immediately, and Monterey says, nah, don't look over there. You're still fighting me. KC with a pistol round that seemed set pretty much from the get-go, but at least a plant from Fnatic.
Yeah, a silver lining indeed. But after a dominant map in the previous, I don't think you want to be starting this out with a pistol under KC's belt. If you keep an eye on who's stepping up to the plate, Narrate on map 1 was sensational. And he's got himself the Sage coming into this one, the Battle Sage, the reses that could be coming up if he has his game. Levin, Billy's highlight when it comes to this agent select, and I have to agree, seeing him have a good game, that is going to put even more wind in KC's sails. And well, he started off with an opening pick in the previous. This time, he's there to support. As Aves finds one, that flash looked like it could have turned the tide a little bit for Fnatic, but the weaponry letting them down. Certainly not letting Sagetsu down. That's a 3-piece, same as he found in half 1 of a set. That's the whole half.
We're still going.
Yep.
No, I genuinely thought that was going to be just a multi-frag with the Seize nade. Like, that connected onto multiple players, and just the nade didn't quite pan far enough back. But yeah, for Sagetsu, the build-up of some of those ultimate orbs, of course, not the strongest of bonuses coming in, but definitely one that Fnatic will look to try and come through a little bit cleaner. The rifles, of course, onto the board, but no ultimates particularly close for them. But that's enough of us talking. Let's let Fnatic do the talking.
Bring them down.
He's 1 mil, 1 mil.
I'm gonna blind heaven, boys.
Fine, come. TP backside.
Yeah, TP. No, I'm flooding. We can take it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go under. Okay, do you have smoke for city?
I'm on the
Nice smack, nice smack. I'm gonna plant.
Gotta be main.
Fine.
Yeah, can you hold it, Cloud, or you want me to hold it?
Flooding maybe.
Later.
I left your flank, I left flank.
Haven't, I'm gonna TP out. We can
Tapping, I'm tapping.
speak right together. That's 2.
Well, let's go.
Hard the lane.
Can we hold?
Holding behind.
I'm turning heaven. Can we pick city? Come new box.
I'm coming.
I have a smoke in 10.
Wait. 1, 2. Take under.
TT fade.
I have city.
Smoke in 5 for heaven.
I have city with you.
5v3, boys.
Austin, you plant. I'm gonna smoke
Holding heaven now.
I'm not planning God,
Heaven out.
Dead. I haven't fade.
I have one now.
Got a Sage?
You want city guy?
No, I don't know, Sage.
I'm gonna pick city.
You just pick
Come on,
CT off
CT.
me, I'm holding this.
Yeah, it was heaven long time ago. I hit him.
Poison's off.
One city.
Kind of default.
Well, Two players still trying to break back through, but it looks like they've made the decision to, well, they're not going to win the round.
No.
Put it that way. They're not saving. That's quite clear. Narrate's only got a pistol. I thought Aves might hightail it, but it's all about damage for this squad. And so far, it's a big mission failed. And it looks like it'll end that way. For Narrate, I think everything there is a pretty good trade for him if he ends up dying to one of those players. Like getting an orb towards the res is as effective as anything else, but Crashy's one away.
Yeah.
Maybe you just don't want to give the ult right away.
Yeah, I don't think you want to give the Nightfall over. Chances are he'll fight for the orb.
One enemy remaining.
But 2-1, as you can see, it's been a while since we saw the last Neon.
That's a bad memory.
Yeah.
For everyone on this side of the pond.
Yeah.
Except me, I love Brock. Anyways, 2-1. KC, and with a full buy and looking to fight themselves right back into things. But it was a convincing round from Fnatic in the previous. I have some hope that they'll be able to pick up some steam. Very interested to see how things pan out with Kayak in particular. Look, no stranger to seeing him play on the Yoru, but in this state of the meta, it's not normally what we would, it's just, I was going to say it's not normally what we'd expect to see. We expect to see it not at all. The ideas from Fnatic, well, they're already going to make it past the wall with the TP in the back side. But what do we do from here? KC are waiting for the battle.
Paranoia will leave him blind. Already a lot of players here, and actually, I was going to say it went well, but it didn't. Dosia, a triple spray down. It leaves Crashies as the last man standing, maybe hoping he could get the orb that gets his Nightfall, but as night falls, he's got no friends left to play with. And they're on the hunt. Casey looking to try and remove this gun from his hands. As mentioned on the desk that when Casey last played this map, which was a little while ago, and their form was definitely quite a bit different, they managed just 3 rounds when they played against Na'Vi in a 3-9 defensive half. Well, unless Crashies has some sort of cheat or exploit that I don't know about, they're going to have 3 rounds in the first 4.
Yeah, don't think he's getting the plant out of that. And there we go. The round locked in for KC, 3-1. Credits on the side of Fnatic. Well, a lot was invested, but there's still a lot remaining. They'll be able to get a decent buy out of this one. They've got a Nightfall to work with as well. But what worries me, KC, dominant in the last map. 3-1 start here. Sugetsu, who was quiet, I mean silent in the previous, now showing up in a big way. And we haven't even seen Narrate involved at all so far. And already it's looking strong.
He won on a pistol by killing the guy that was going to get the diffuser.
Kill.
It was an important kill.
Little heal as well in there, and that's been his highlight. We know he's going to show up in a big way. And for Fnatic, for Aang sat there in the coaching booth. He once commanded the ship on the other side, but now Will Turner's taken over. Aang finds himself as the Davy Jones, and what a stab in the heart it would be to lose out to the team that you walked away from when they were 0-5.
Yeah, that's a scary prospect, and for Fnatic, we know the expectations on this team are higher than any other in EMEA. They went 5-0 in the previous group stage and then had issues that were out of their control, and that was still enough to make changes to their roster, much to many's dismay. But now they need to prove that those were worthwhile. The pickup of Cloud, I think, has clearly been a good one, but it's the rest of it. A ruse being sold, a fake by Kayak, as he now looks to join the rest of the team. Nightfall across. The seas will slow them down a little bit, and Sugetsu under some serious pressure. 58 HP, but he's still in that corner. 30 seconds left. As they now look to make it to the site. Alfia on that entry, but Narrate swings out from above. Even still, it ends up even, but bear in mind, there is a showstopper, but it's on the other side, and Alfia just isn't missing. 12 HP made no difference. And now Levin in a tough clutch. A showstopper at his back, but I feel like he needs a kill before he uses it.
I think he feels that way as well. trade will come in far too quickly. He knows one player is low. Alpha dodges those shots by sheer chance, but this one harder to dodge, so he doesn't let the shot be fired. Alpha, yeah, he has turned up in a big round for Fnatic. This was needed, necessary. Or we would see KC run away with this early half. We've seen what they can do with that momentum. But this time, will be put to a stop early enough.
Oh, it's been spoken about a lot that Alfie always talks about.
Oh my goodness.
Getting a little bit bored. Yeah, we're slow-moing the table slams. That's what we got to.
I feel like Zace he's going for a new record, man. We used to have Barbar out here, but man's going to snap that chair before the game's over.
Barbar is the reason we had to get stronger desks.
It's not even a lie. Like, people at home would think you're joking about that. That's not even a joke. We had to go back to the drawing board after he dented like 6 of them. I think someone had to do a play test on that before, actually, and they moved. I'm not even joking. They moved their mouse, and they were like, "Why is there a big hole here?"
I think it was.
Like, it's a Barbar table. Sorry,
was it Nukia?
Yeah, I think it was Nukia. He was like, "What?" And they're like, "Oh, that's Barbar's old desk. My bad. Let's swap it out." That guy was crazy. I think Zace is giving him a run for his money.
I miss him.
I miss him too, man. He used to come to Irish lands. What a G.
Wow.
Inspired many players who went on to do nothing, but he inspired them.
This buy is a bit stinky, but there's a couple of ults that could pad the gap a little bit. Again, Aves is trying to slow them down, but try as he might with a stinger and some spams. Unfortunately, they have managed to get the site, and for Fnatic, this puts them in a hugely advantageous position. I also like the spot from Cloud. Viper is not an agent that springs to mind when I think of him, but it seems like he's taking up this new lurk role. Well, quite literally, is very far back, but he just wants to make sure they can't force him out of position. Oh, Nightfall.
Only catching the one. Didn't expect it to be invested in this round, but with the positions of Fnatic, it looks like they did. And Cloud now playing slow as can be. We saw this in the pistol. And maybe that's why they went back to check it, but a little bit too late there for Narrate. Advantage sits with Fnatic now. They looked like they were behind, but they were limping as a lure. And now 3-3 we go. Looks like Doja will make it out with the weapon, but that is the only silver lining for KC.
I really like the way that Cloud is playing. I think we've seen it throughout the game. Incredibly clever when it comes to making sure he checks certain angles. I think even on Ascent, even though they were losing, he had a lot of impact, and this round is no different. But it's more so just how far back he went. He knows they're going to try and clear him, so he just makes it so it's like, okay, if you want to come fight me in spawn and waste the time away, you can do that. If not, you're going to have to periodically keep...
Doja's rifle saved over from the previous. It's the only man with shields, and the rest of the squad playing an eco, bar Narrate on the Sharif. This should be a very difficult round for KC to really get anything done in. But I've said that before, and, well, we were surprised many times on Summit.
Yeah, I think as well, like, you look at this from KC's perspective, you got a Sage Viper setup, solo duelist. You kind of expect this composition to be better on the defense.
Here.
And so the fact that they've started to lose rounds, not really be able to slow opponents down, this is risky. It's a weird stack. And of course, Fnatic, we're not expecting 3 players to be sat in the vent.
But we are against an eco, double diving into
That's
vent.
still weird. Like,
it
3 players is weird.
Oh, listen, you jump into vents anytime during a game, any moment. Chances of there being 3 players, they're talking very low. Oh, well, Levin's managed to sneak one at least. But for Fnatic, I didn't expect this to go this way. They dive in, they find 3, they make an aggressive stance against the pistols and pay for it. They have ended up with a decent bit of map control. They've essentially completely swapped positions. Fnatic are now defending, but need to plant the spike. And KC are waiting to attack a site after the plant comes down. This is from the attacker's side. This is strange, and you can see how Boaster's trying to put the pieces together of what's going on, but I don't think you're going to solve this puzzle unless all the pieces are revealed.
Oh, the moment he plants, that will give the game... Well, I felt like with the clear through mid from Crashies and him going all the way in towards screens, there was nowhere else that anybody could be. Crashies trying to avenge his fallen comrades by entering the vent, and that is, and I mean it, the worst possible timing. I don't know how they have done everything almost perfectly on the KC side. I don't know if that is one of the few strats in the Zeiss strat book, or pure coincidence. But either way, an Emoda Thrifty will be coming through in favor of KC.
Such a strange round to see. The double dive in against the Eco, a risk taken, the reward certainly not found.
But look at the timing on that.
Genuine, the second he turns, and then the legs are seen go up the rope.
Look his arms go up. He's like, come on!
Yeah. Well, he knows, like, that was pixel perfect from Narrate. A res online now for the defensive side, and the lead is there still. Operator pulling into play for Levin, and he has aggressive ideas. Who's surprised at that? But he won't hit the opening shot, and going back in here is a risk. They're on a high-low. Oh, they were on a high-low. Now Crashies has walked in, and it's a good job, too. That shot just whizzed straight over Alpha's head. He's going back again, Levin.
Dimensional trip. He's missed 3 shots in a row, and he's being rounded on. Maybe they forgot about what this ultimate could do. So much space to take. How's no one died yet? Finally, we'll see some players fall. But it's not gone the way of Fnatic. Maybe it has. Never mind. What do I know?
One enemy remaining.
In fact, it's gone amazingly. Couldn't have gone any better. Sugetsu, last man standing, and Crashies is going to close it out. No more unlucky timing. And from what was a double opener, it seemed, for KC, they don't get a kill from that point onwards.
Geez, that's got to be tough for Levin, man. He went in 4 shots taken, 4 shots missed.
Oh, you know.
Got pushed
just
back
like me.
bit by bit by bit. Yeah, it's me for real. Let's not think about the other maps, the things he did there. Let's just think about this round.
Yeah, yeah.
I can make it on KC. Well,
The 5 main, 5B, bro.
Baby, I can't highlight enough how calm, reasonable, and kind that man. I think Zeiss might be one of my favorite people I've ever met in esports. But geez, in the coaching booth, he's a different guy. I've never seen him get angry outside of it, and he's had plenty of reasons. But you get him in a game, and that competitive spirit comes out. Jesus.
That monitor's got to be sat there like, what did I do?
Our IT department's shaking in their britches. They know they're getting a call soon.
The admin's like, you know you're muted, right? Well, Dosia, there is no one here to help him. Even still, he'll take Althea down. Now Levin is there from above. He's still, he cannot hit an operator shot to save his life. It's 5 missed in a row. Well, a lot of these have looked like freebies from what we expect to see from Levin. At least this time he lives to tell the tale. Ult-wise, the res is not going to hold any value, at least for now. Someone else would have to fall. Boaster up top. Viper Orb also holding the back. And even going to invest the pit late into the round.
Snake bite
it's
too.
going to make it so much more awkward. And well, Boaster firing warning shots, but Cloud was not doing the same. For Levin, no choice but to save that up for the next round.
Yeah, that was for Fnatic. As soon as the orb is about to fade, when you see Cloud step forward with the ult, you think it has to be done. He was a little late on putting the snake bite down, I think conscious of people having pushed through. And the second it goes down, they've got them boxed in. Players outside can't come to help. Levin's got to run for the hills. They're trying to fight back through that pit with the operator. It's just never going to happen. This was it. They were already boxed in and dealt with. Boaster tickling them from up above and Cloud dragging them down below. It's 5-4. One coach is taking that better than the other.
Oh, he's gone from anger. Now he's in denial.
I want to go give him a hug, man. This that was so we hung on that for so long.
These are the stages of grief. That's what we're getting. And they're only 1 round behind. 5-4. Much more patient move from Fnatic. Looks like an all-in on this A side of the map. Narrate's the one to try and take contact. He hasn't had the same success we've seen from either his Chamber or his Phoenix. Sage Wall to try and slow them down, pushing them into Aves again. His C's put into position. Althea with nowhere to go, but the spams are not going to do as much as hoped. And as the C's fades, in fact, there was no damage done at all.
Well, they've got the site, or at least they can plant, but they don't quite have the site. Fnatic still have 2 players to deal with, and okay, the raid's going to fall quite quickly. Abez still standing his ground, though. He's taken down 1, but Crashies has made this an almost impossible task. Maybe not something we should say in the same sentence as Abez. His performance in the last stole the show. But now a defuse needed. They'll keep Heaven control to allow this to happen. Levin looking for this battle, but the Boombot has sold a ruse. Boaster slipping past it, now sat up close. Levin suspects it! And now it's just 1 left to deal with. The showstopper locks it in. I thought Boaster had made the play to win the round, but fair play to Levin. Cautious. It's a new look on him, but a welcome one. New look on him, but a welcome one.
Yeah, and Abez as well. He was there from the beginning. It maybe should have been dead to rights, especially after what Crashies was able to do up top, but he just holds that backside position, doesn't allow them to get that control, and then he's there to close it out before the rocket can even land. 5-5. Maybe an unlikely round for KC, but that's kind of what this match has been like, a consistent back and forth between the 2 teams in map 1 and map 3.
2 rounds left to play for. Rez online for Narrate. Nightfall for both squads. Hasn't really had the opportunity to use it just yet. And maybe he won't this time either. Everybody is leaving him. Narrate is alone. There are 5 players outside the A site. They're found out at least 1 is there with the wall being broken. That will keep Doja here for the time being, but they don't know quite how many numbers are on the other side.
Yeah, I think it's based off the Nightfall. But normally you'd send that Nightfall through the back of the site, and I think that's why we're seeing KC adopt their positions around the heavens. They know they can continue to slow them down. But instead, up top, the opponents go. Kayak's done well to start. Now the Nightfall goes through, as you see. Doesn't connect onto anybody, but it lets them know that the site is clear. They can get into the post plant. The devil of the last round, the man in the back of Abez, will not be on the site this time. I'm hoping for a bit of a miracle with the spam, but it's a bit more of an unorthodox plant spot.
Look at the battle between Cloud and Levin that's now being set up. KC are taking their time, making it out of Heaven, only now making it down the ramp. All the while, Cloud is playing the long game, but that means the rest of Fnatic have to hold strong. They have to delay as much as they can with no utility left. Bar on Cloud, it's going to be tough. They have to do it with the rifles, and Cloud's being caught. They were watching the flank, but that's when Kayak turns up for Fnatic. Left it on. Oh, what? That shot was insane from Levin. Another needed onto Kayak. A right click could be enough. And although he finds all the kills, the clock is an enemy no man can defeat. 6-5 for Fnatic. What a round from Levin, though.
Yeah, it's a very nice attempt. He sits at the board 12-6, even with the shots we were talking about earlier.
Slow it down.
Maybe he was saving up all of his power for the one that he showed. Obviously, Kayak, an insane one. But it's while landing, then flicks to the headshot. That is insane. But just a little bit too late on the clock to get the round done. It goes Fnatic's way. 6-5. A minimum of a level half. I'm watching Levin. He's just walked out of the Viper's pit. They placed it down in middle. He's just walked straight through it and now sits posted up on the angle.
The pit's still up. It's going to keep Fnatic out of mid. But if they go walking back in, even just to take a peek, Levin's going to rip them to shreds. The problem is, rotate off the back of Doja's information. He sat up aggressive in B main. Because they have that info, they've sent players towards this A site. Fnatic will only have 1 man standing in their way, and well, that man only has a pistol to work with. He's, at least for now, avoided their gaze, but, well, it's time to run for Doja. He's realized.
Go, go, go.
Retaking these circumstances will be difficult as Stinger a judge, an operator. These are not guns you want in these sort of circumstances. And while a man down is not going to make it any easier for KC, Kayak has done well. This Yoru looking good, and Cloud on flank watch has been unstoppable.
Cover going out.
Trying to catch him out of position has been incredibly tough, and for the remaining 3 players, I don't see any way back in. It's a little labored from Kayak, but not anything that matters too much with how much of an advantage they have. And while Levin might be quick, but I don't think he's quick enough to clear all the remaining players of Fnatic with how much time is left on the job. He's showing you that maybe those misses earlier were a little bit of an off round or two. It's nice shots from Levin, but I don't think Fnatic will care at all as they go in with the lead.
No, it is a lead for Fnatic. Aang has made it work, at least for the first half. And now, during the halftime, we're going to send it over to the coach confession that happened after the previous map. We asked Aang if he feels like he has a good read on Zeish's strat book for this map. Let's see what he had to say about that. Fnatic with the lead just about. They showed up towards the end of that attack side, and even if you look at the timeline there, you can see it was just a flash in the pan here or there for KC. The pistol, the only time they managed to see back-to-back rounds was after it. And so coming into this one, I think it's fair to say, Tom, they may need a pistol to give them the leg up. You also said this comp looks better on the defense, at least on an eye test.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they've got planned. I think maybe their moving as a pack will help them out, as it always seems to do. And well, that's a very aggressive stance. But it still ends up even. The spams onto Boaster at the back wall have been enough. Crashies goes unchecked, but is there a trade to be had? Yes, there is. And well, again, swings and roundabouts. The team takes an advantage, and it doesn't last long. For Cloud, he was used to being that lurk, the man on the other side of the map. Now he's hoping that his gamble to be is the correct one. And while it was, but I think hearing nothing might just put a little bit of doubt in the back of his mind.
There's certainly a lot more avenues they can come from to flank him. And if they are going to go without utility, it's going to be a contact. More likely that they're going to do that from behind than in front. But now it's been long enough. Cloud has to worry about both angles, but there's the information given to him. That was the utility, the signal he was waiting for, the strike onto Aves, but it's a bad man to swing. That puts him positive, and it puts KC 1 round behind.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the Aves redemption arc. I think being that typical IGL under Eng was not working for him, and whatever structure changes have been made under Zeiss has given this man a new lease of life. But again, we saw opportunities, advantages in this round for Fnatic. But the fight back is ever so fierce. And now gives a very good opportunity to go into the first buy round level.
Oh, this is definitely not an opportunity that KC can afford to squander. A decently strong buy, 3 rifles and a Spectre. Even making this round close will be a loss for KC. And for now, at least, I see them moving towards middle. This is the plan from Fnatic. This is what they hope KC will do. They're waiting on mid, but they haven't seen anything. And with a minute left on the clock, it's time to go. Just as KC step past the point of no return, but it looks like they'll at least mostly make it out. The wall slowing them down, but Alpha's somehow gotten 2 over it. This is dangerous. He's got himself a 3rd. And now there's weapons to be recovered. There's an advantage for Fnatic. And as I said, already making it close. This is a big negative for KC. It could get a lot worse.
Well, yeah, Alpha has now got a rifle to play with. He didn't even take any damage in those battles, so he is healthy, ready, and raring to go. An ace, not an impossibility. And then the best thing is for Crashies and Cloud, they could basically just act as bait. They can use themselves to try and give Althea an opportunity. Even still, though, that time has been ticking. Dosia still had his paranoia, looks to slow them down, but the position again, the position from Cloud is perfect.
remaining.
He's going to eliminate one of those rifle players that's left, all onto Dosia, and he doesn't have the right angle. It doesn't matter now though, Crashies has let go, and a chance to maybe save the day. I think the defusel's just going to come over the line. It is a Moda Thrifty, closed out by Cloud, but won by Alpha, yeah.
That should have been neck and neck. That should have been KC's way back in, and they lose the second round to Alphayer. This guy being gifted 3 over the top of the wall for 2. Sensational work. And the closeout, 0.21 of a second, I knew that desk was going to get a punishment. I don't know what that desk has done to him, but I know what he's done to the desk. It is
well-built desk.
There's going to be a fine coming
all
up.
I'm going to say is that desk barely flinches.
That's true. There's not even a dent on it.
Well, 8-6. The second time in this series that has happened. The last, I believe, was the map that they lost. Crucial rounds slipping out of KC's hands, and sure, if Alfia's going to hit shots like that, I'll be honest, like when I heard the Bandit was being buffed, I kind of went, I think that might be a little bit silly. But I do think it was mainly to get people to use it. And now I'm seeing people like Alfia use it. Maybe it needs to be nerfed, because that was insane. He could just tap people out of the round like it's nothing.
Already when we saw people use it, it was strong.
Yeah.
And then you hear there's a buff coming, and obviously it is for pick rates, for selection, buy rates.
Yeah.
But that has to be undone, I'd imagine. Because I still don't think we're seeing the full ceiling of it in those low buy rounds, but
that was pretty close.
Yeah, that was a pretty good, but that was an example, right? You need to have a lot of examples before we start tweaking the game. I don't think it'll be too long before we do. Fnatic, man advantage already. It is an eco that they're up against. The rifle and Sugetsu, the only shining light of hope for this attacking side. But stranger things have happened than a round like this going their way. Doja, oh my goodness, oh, the timing is insane! What is that fight? What? Okay, well, Alpha somehow gets out of there alive, ends up taking the right, ends up taking Aves! And you know what? He'll take the bloody round with it, Sugetsu!
He's reloading.
He's reloading! But finally gets it on the shorty! Jesus, what a round from Alphayer, and I mean that in every sense of the word. What a round from Alphayer.
He's really come alive in this defensive half already. The 4K in this round. A multi-frag to give them the last round. Oh, it's just the worst timing for either player. Yeah. Oh, God. I think Dosia's going to have nightmares about that. And then watch 2 of his teammates die. Well, sorry, 3 of them die because of it.
I love you, Bratan. I love you. It's your time.
Trust me, bro. If you saw what he did, you love him even more. The little cha-cha slide, right and left, beautiful little reverse on it. 9-6, 3 rounds in between them, but it is definitely feeling like the chasm is widening in favor of Fnatic. Finally, Alphayer will face certain death and actually die.
It was an attempt. I'm going to assume to maybe just try and catch Sugetsu on the lurk. The C's even thrown in, but no damage really found for it. Defenders have taken a fair amount of early control. The TP away, maybe used as a ruse to leave Cloud behind. But nothing being spotted. Because of that, they're going to now gamble the rotation back towards this A site. It's the right call, but the reason we see this so often is because of that Nightfall. It can clear the entirety of the backside and elbow. Forces them out of the site, but you have to look at the new position taken up by Cloud that now covers them off in heaven.
Oh, that spam was fantastic. He's taken Aves, he's done damage, left Levin on his last legs, and the push up in B main from Kayak. The distraction here is Boaster running his way back through. In fact, he might be a sacrificial lamb. But do they expect the other man? Well, they've spotted him now. Okay, danger. Well, spotted, but not dealt with just yet. Luckily, he'll only get the 1.
Spike plant. Another flank coming, though. Crashies also went the long way around. It leaves a bit of an awkward gap in heaven, though. That's the bigger problem. If they're unable to clear Dosia, he might be able to buy enough time. But also, for Crashies, yep, the high-low. difficult to clear. They're also wary of where that second player is coming from, but as said, Dosia still acts as that safe pair of hands. And for Crashies now, he doesn't even know where that second player is. He's got to try and figure out Dosia's position, but Dosia's giving nothing. I like this. Just sits back, waits patiently. And okay, there's one kill, but the time already gone. He didn't even have to make a step. Now at this point, there's nothing Crashies can do. He made it costly, but ultimately it's a 7th round for KC.
Yeah, they have gotten themselves back on the board. A little bit of fluidity from them with the start out towards A main, but happy to wrap back around, and this space taken by Sugetsu was perfect. It did seem like Kayak was going to be a big problem in main. He jumps out, sees 3 players, ends up catching one with the flash, but again, it was Sugetsu to pick up that piece. And like I said, the reason I was so harsh on him in the previous is because I don't really see him not play that way that often, right? Like, play that poorly. With Sugetsu, someone we have a high skill ceiling for. We've seen it. We've seen it reached plenty of times. And he had a very quiet performance today, or at least on this map, sorry. That's Narrate, right? And we've also seen him step up in this series. These are players we know can deliver in a big way. But the Battle Sage for Narrate hasn't been working out quite as well as we'd hoped.
Oh, Boaster's paranoia. Box not landed on. Doom. Cloud. So SMG's not going to be great on the wallbangs, but it will be great if they try and run through a snakebite. They wanted to try and join Levin, and they have in the grave. It leaves Narrate, and well, he's got his res, but I don't see an opportunity to use it unless he's going to use someone as bait.
To be honest, this, like, right now, a 5-11 Narrate in a 1v4, this is where I feel like he's most dangerous. He's not only got a point to prove, but he doesn't have to worry anymore about anybody else. Doesn't have to worry about his utility. All he has to do is shoot people, and you put Narrate into a deathmatch, and, well, the results are up in the air, to say the least. The reality is, though, you take a look at the credits for KC, and they're not the healthiest. Levin's doing decent, but it is probably better to carry this rifle forward to the next. Something about the 1v4 with the spike down just doesn't really hit for me. But it's whether he gets away with it or not. I mean, Crashies probably isn't going to clear the spawn here, surely. You look towards the A site. Maybe he's flanking all the way around, but if he does and he catches Narrate, which for now at least he's locked in on it.
10 seconds left.
Luckily on the other side, I think he's thought twice about going this. I think he's thought twice about going this way. Yeah, see there. He thought twice
can he hear you? Because it genuinely feels like this is just Narrate rage bait.
There we go.
There you go. Well, Crashies now knows, but it's too late. Yeah, he'll at least be able to hold on to the gun, but we now have KC coming in with the timeout. The one and done rounds that comes through hasn't really saved them, and it's safe to say that.
I'm sorry.
The immediate apology.
Bit worried for them coming into this map, but even with both pistols going the way of the opposition, they find themselves 10-7. Alfie has looked fantastic. Cloud again has been a consistent factor throughout this series. Definitely looking like a great pickup from the side of Fnatic. Do KC still have the ability to bounce back from this one? We've seen them perform fantastically well in their first couple of games. After a 0-5 stage 1, they've looked like a different beast. But is this the bubble about to be burst?
Ooh.
Bring them down.
Warning shots.
Exactly. He's scaring him away from his land. That's what we want to see. This is my site. Back off. You won't like what happens next, buddy.
Yeah, no one wants from the shadows anyway. It's just very good management of orbs.
Yes, that's
Either
exactly
way,
what I was going to say.
Contact into heaven. TP in, but it was more so just a ruse. Alfia, he stunned half the team and looks to go in for more. He's just been right-click classicked by Aves.
Down A.
Barbosa's warning shots.
Your duty is not
Really?
30 seconds left.
I'm surprised we see the res come through. They have managed to pick up a rifle, but in this round where there's still so many vulnerabilities, a res seems very surprising. Maybe Narrate just wanting to finally be able to use it, but is it used for nothing? No, Aves, with that trade back, the res assist has come in for Narrate, and now he's going to get himself a plant.
Feel a bit peeved off if you're Levin, to be honest. Kayak taking down 2. Well, he's put this round to bed, hasn't he? Aves all alone. Finds himself one more. The man brought back from the dead man walking. But he's got to put 2 more bodies on the floor, and they are peaking together. Boaster and Crashies won't let this one slip. He's up against the deadly duo. 5 bullets left. A reload might be needed, but he wants to pick first. He wants to take them down, and with the mag running dry, so too are his chances. Brashy's out on top with 11-7.
It's at least a couple of assists for Narrate, but I was very surprised to see that ultimate used. Maybe a couple more coming online for them soon, and with the deficit, they wanted to try and bring it back a little bit earlier. I'm also surprised that we only see 1 here, because this is the kill that, in my eyes, is straight BS.
I think I figured it out, actually. Aves might be cheating.
Yes, he could also control how the spread of a right-click classic goes.
Nice! He's programming his own stuff. Goodness gracious. What a game this has been. It has delivered at every turn, but we may be nearing the end of this story for KC. Started out so bright, but dark times are here. 11-7, 4 rounds behind. Big round for KC. Ulti's online, rifles in hand, and a man advantage already.
I think one of those ults might have just been earned from that kill from Aves, so... Again, he seems to drag his team through this. He had an unbelievable map 2 on Ascent. Set the bar for how you can perform as an IGL, but...
Cloud. Does it keep going?
He has been quite aggressive in his stances. Almost a lurker on the defense, but...
They might go back to B. If Cloud doesn't overextend here, this could be huge. I think he's going to get the pick that stops them going that way in just a second, but every second gone past is a big opportunity to catch them on that rotate, and now KC are kind of directionless. They've got to make a choice.
But this is the problem.
Pit B, you've got to go A.
You've got one player going one way, one player going the other, but the rotation might be caught. Levin's now looking to kill off Boaster as he rotates. It's going to be down to Alpha on the side, but sometimes that's enough. He quickly got 2 kills. And although the spike plant is inevitable, there's still an opportunity for Cloud. Making his way towards Levin. He'll get himself a 1v1 fight, but it's an unfair fight. He was caught on the rope, maybe expecting them to group up together to fight this one. Levin actually ends up being a hugely important piece of that round, catching the lurk and then killing off the player at the end.
Finding those picks, gets him Showstopper online for the next. Super important, but it is, you have to give him credit for it, because you know what, I take the credit away when he does the opposite. Great display of patience from Levin. That lurk through B, catching the rotation coming out of Boaster, and then having that same impact by playing close to mid and hearing Cloud on the rotation. This was a really nice round from Levin, and it's given them a huge ultimate coming into this round. Another very important one, because for KC, win this, not only do you stop Fnatic hitting 12, which is a good enough reason to win, but you'll also stop them hitting 12 in the next, most likely, because look at the credits. They are not looking pretty on that defensive side.
Althea could buy a bandit.
True. Yeah, well, guess nothing's guaranteed in this life.
Well, Showstopper. Bit of an awkward one. He's taken a lot of control. They walk through. Oh, that was an opportunity for Cloud. I feel like a judge at that angle should have got him a little bit more, and every single fight that's been had has gone the way of KC. From the depths of defeat to winning every scrappy battle. A judge in a smoke finding 0 kills, and then the fight from Sugetsu. Now for Crashies and Kayak, it is basically a scenario of, I was going to say, stick together and hope that you get it over the line. Instead, they have split up and look for clues. Crashies is about to find out where they are, and he's also found a bullet from Levin.
Well, Kayak, this would be a beautiful play. A chance to take down Narrate on the plant, that little gap in the wall, but something tells me unless, as we've already said, Fnatic are not in the greatest financial spot, unless they come throwing themselves at him and give him the chance to win the round, he won't be trying to find that chance for himself. He won't be creating that opportunity. It's simply a save of the weapon, which for Fnatic won't arm them to the teeth in the next, but It's really, we're in the danger zone now. KC pushing up to 9, 5 players alive. It's a lot of credits at their back. And add to that, as we said, it's not likely to be a very costly round in the next for the attacking side. They could end up in a really strong economic position. To be honest, considering it's 11 on the board for Fnatic, they're already in that spot. Ultimate's coming online and a convincing round. I'm believing in KC again. I doubt Zaysh is, but I am. I feel like we're going to see a replay of him like smashing a desk here or something.
Maybe not in this round. Maybe not quite a smile. But not quite
Just a blank stare at the monitor again. Oh, no, okay.
There's nothing to see. That's all you need to know.
I'm sure.
11-9. And yeah, it was kind of like there were some vulnerabilities in the last round, although where the judge ended up being positioned, I did expect a little bit more. But they still don't have a buy going into this one either, so maybe stretching the credits a little bit too thin, but the walk-up, it's expected. Even still, it being expected and dealing with it is difficult. The value of that TP allows him to get out of there scot-free. A little bit of damage. And the same can be said for Levin, who has now been healed up. Cloud now looks to reclaim that space, and the rest of Fnatic again are grouping up around Kayak to put pressure in towards the spawn, but Dosia just has no interest in fighting that. And even with Kayak being able to get into aggressive positions, okay, he's left the player behind, but he's now used pretty much all of his utility and not really found much for it.
Well, Alpha, you mentioned the judge in the previous. This is the bookie up close, being held by Doja for now. He will back off. Nobody going to tempt fate. Although maybe he will. It looks like the spike is still heading towards B, but I assume this is just a ruse being sold, trying to drag those rotations over, get that utility out of the defense, make him spooked, make him scared, and then run into a wide open A site. I think that's the plan from KC. A lot of Fnatic are still here.
It's feeling a little bit nervy. 20 seconds left, and that rifle's still here. It's the one kill, but it's traded immediately, and Levin then deals with the remaining 2 defenders. The spike still needs to cross, but they were waiting to bait things out, and Narrate, with a few seconds left on the clock, will get that spike down. It looked for a second like this was going to be a blunder with a nervy finish. Instead, Althea now has 4 players and a Bucky.
Yeah, look, finding a couple of kills here is going to be the ideal scenario. Make it extremely costly would be great.
If he gets
but
one,
it doesn't
I'm
really
impressed.
matter that much, considering the fact that KC, you're not talking about the credits on KC going anywhere. And I don't think you're really talking about Alpha having his ultimate before the half is over. Like if he has a big step-up round, sure, he'll have it online, but the half will also probably be over. Whereas on the side of KC, an orb to Levin after that big round is certainly going to give him the opportunity to have a showstopper fairly soon. It's not quite the attempt to go for the defuse at the end. I think he's timing.
He was grabbing a
slightly
rifle,
off.
but he died anyway.
Oh, I didn't notice he picked up a rifle.
He picked up
That's
a
nice
rifle,
idea.
but
I like
he wasn't
that.
quite quick enough.
Yeah. I was like, he's definitely too late to bait them into sticking around. Like, well, okay, that makes sense.
I think he picked up the vandal that Kayak dropped. So he went into the corner, grabbed it, but there was literally no time for him to get away. So, well, definitely some frustration seeping in. 3 rounds lost in a row. And now
That definitely could have been uncomfortable. Just a couple of shots missed for Fnatic and looking the wrong way in heavy traffic as Levin made it up and over. They were watching for it moments before, but they turned their back just as he made it onto the site. Timing was good for KC. That's been a factor. And I like thinking about this team in particular, I feel like their style of playing it more loose creates those opportunities more often than anyone else that we see.
Excuse me?
What the...
What?
What is that pit, bro? I've never seen that before. You can't misclick a pit. What is that? What am I missing? It's either genius or stupid, and I don't know which.
We're gonna, well, maybe we're gonna find out. Maybe they don't want them pushing B main. Maybe they want them to fight into mid. They're getting that mid fight. We'll see if they're ready for it. 3 players holding on the other side. Sugetsu still just holding on to B main. He's got it on lock.
Oh, has he? You don't think they'll push into it?
You never know. Because that's what he's expecting them to do.
He is. He's sat in the corner waiting for them. Listen, if anyone walks through this, they're an idiot. I just want to say that plain and simple. That's the weirdest pit I've ever seen in my life. I'm trying to think of a stranger one. Why?
Maybe it's the ultimate counter to Kayak, who's been pushing that every single round. He's just going to stay in the pit the whole time. Levin's failed a blast pack up, and Cloud has now got a slightly easier fight. They're going to try and potentially use a rest. Alpha, yeah. Dealing damage onto one, keeps that man advantage going, but it's got 14 seconds. They've got to move. Nice. 12 seconds to make it onto the site. The cross could be held. An opportunity if they can spam this one out. Instead, Crashies is there. They will get that plant in just about. As the swing comes through, it's now left all onto one. And Narrate, one bullet. He's got time to reload, but he's getting spammed at the same time. And eventually, Crashies will take us to 12. An interesting round from KC.
He died pushing out the pit, by the way. It's kind of tough to get through a smoke into a site with no utility. And why'd you replay that, man? Don't do this to me. Have you put Sugetsu dying walking? Yeah, you have as well. Actually, I can't say what I want to say to you right now. Replay off. That's disgusting. Not what you've done. What you've done is disgusting, but what he did is more. He hit it in B main, and then shift walked out of it after a timeout. What are we doing? Okay, well, that's how I feel. That's how I feel what he's feeling. He's just not letting it out.
Familiar faces.
That's after a timeout. Like maybe there was a generational idea behind it, but let me tell you, it looked stupid and it did nothing. So, you know, maybe we'll see it another time.
Oh.
Hope not.
Moving on. Nice shot from Levin. It's landed onto Boaster. A site looking like it's going to be theirs. No Viper's pit for the post plant.
Now the plant coming through for KC. It's all about that late play. Sugetsu hasn't quite got the pit to work with, but he might still be able to put a bit of a sting onto this. Oh, that's nice. He's actually baited that out beautifully. Cloud has played for a bit of a fool, and now they have to worry about that late flank. That's gone about as well as it could for Sugetsu, and then he got shot in the face. So that's a bit unfortunate, but luckily it's a return. Levin popped the showstopper. That's going to push them back for a moment, buy a little bit more time, and as that clock keeps on ticking, the defuse will be at least tapped to bait out the swing. Abez down, and now 1v1. Okay, it's looking workable for a man like Cloud. He's going to tank that nade, looking to get it to half, but the wrap from Levin is there. 11 on the board for KC. It's the distance either way, but we might see an overtime.
Levin's been incredible in this map. 26 and 13. Him and Althea continue to go toe-to-toe throughout this map, and even just look how aggressive he was. Goes up with a shorty. And while Althea fights it back, he's there to close it in the end. Just one round, the difference between the two.
Let's go!
11 feeling like an overtime is on the cards. We saw it in map 1. That was where they tasted defeat. And for Fnatic now, just look at the buy that's come up behind it. 2 sheriffs, a judge, and at least a couple of rifles.
Minute 15 on the clock. KC challenging for mid, but we've seen this from KC a lot, that they very rarely go in the direction they're indicating in that first engagement or two. Pressure on mid, they see players up top, and now look to main. Look to Kayak.
Time to jump.
Just now got another TP online, but won't even get a chance to use it. Quick connection by Levin. It's one of the weaknesses taken out. Fnatic looking likely to concede to an overtime, and with Alphier already down and out, feels like an inevitability.
Yeah, rifle can be retrieved for Crashies. He's definitely had a better map here on Split. And Sugetsu, it is genuine responsibility. This map has just been an annoyance. Be in the backline consistently. Nightfall sent out. Levin just looking to play ahead of it. Nade in, but he's going to get eliminated. Even still, though, it looks like his teammates have the job done. Crashies versus 4. the slows on either side. And he's being wrapped on from the heavens. Well, he's not been spotted, but it won't matter. Narrate is there to close. OT once again as KC take us all the way. And from Fnatic having a fairly decent advantage to close in regulation, they now have to fight once again to close in overtime.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be disappointing for this squad. They were so far in the lead that even with a couple of rounds going the way of KC, it didn't feel like they really had that much of a chance of making this climb back in. Remember how the half even started. They win the pistol, lose round 2 right off rip. Like Fnatic ran away with this. But KC caught up just in time. 11 in the lead when it comes to kills, 28 and 14. Billy was saying that's the highlight. That's what I'm looking at. So I want to see Levin on this raise. And, well, you got to see a lot of him. Here's a little more in OT.
Yeah, it seems like Ascent was more of the blip rather than the norm. These teams have been hard to separate. Could have been a 2-0 on Summit. But it's gone the distance all the way, and normally in these sort of late games, that's where you give Fnatic the edge, but with their lead dissipating, the walk-up as well, Boaster could be in a bit of trouble. He's setting up a smoke, doesn't realize how close Levin has got. One away from the 30 bomb now for the young Turkish star. But the rest of the team are making their move in towards the A site. No smokes, of course. Leaves them in a troublesome position, and Cloud is already on his last legs.
I think he's going to go for the late flank now. It's probably where he has the most value, but it's going to be a little bit late to the party. You look to Fnatic, what utility do they have to delay and bar a flash? And the relay bolt, we're not talking, oh sorry, the slide, yeah, we're really not talking about a lot. On this attack side, Cloud only now making it to, he's got to run, he's got to sprint. But of course, they would hear him if he did, or he thinks they would. So a slow approach from Cloud, but it looks like they've taken oh my goodness! Alpha and Kayak have shut them down. Cloud should have it all lined up, but he's being caught by Narrate. Crashies all alone will only find one. And it seemed like a death sentence for KC delaying that long, but well, they've gotten used to playing against Cloud, it seems.
Yeah, I think at this point, both teams are so ready for those flanks. Like, I think especially if you have Sugetsu on your team, he does it every single round. You're going to be expecting that if you don't see that Viper immediately, that you know where he is. I like the call, though. They get aggressive in middle, not shying away from the fight. And now KC, after what was a fairly hefty deficit,
Let's go!
they now sit one round away from taking this in overtime, going 3-0. The team that was 0-5 in Stage 1 could be kicking off their Stage 2 3-0. And well, if I'm not mistaken, being a singular win from being in that top 2, at least it seems likely. And that would skip them straight through to the playoffs. Still, a game versus Fnatic is never done until it's done. We saw it 16-14 earlier. It wouldn't be overly surprising to see one again.
Well, this is one that I want to see the Ace Cam regardless of what happens. 13-12, a chance to win the series against his former head coach for KC, a chance to go 3-0 up when this very same squad, Banner and crew, were down 0-5 ending last season. Playoffs wasn't something we ever thought. We just wanted to see them play, for God's sake, and they never got started. But now they've come not to play but to win. In this round, that might be tough. They've already lost Sugetsu. The mid lurk not going their way, but they've used their wall as well, and nothing found off the back of it.
35 seconds, and they're just looking to re-clear into middle. This is a lot still to do, and not a lot of time to do it. They've got to go through the orb. And are they just going to try and re-hit into this B site through heaven? That seems to be the plan. 20 seconds left. Cloud is just going to sit and wait in the corner. Are they going to check it? They haven't checked it! And wow, Alfia swings before his teammate can even deal that final blow. A nice shot for Levin, but it's irrelevant. The spike up top, 13-13. And while that delay was more than enough to slow KC down, we go another.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good fight for Sugetsu. He walked out with his back turned in mid. They lost that second prong to the offense and then said, okay, well, we gotta have someone go up top. We can't all come out of main. It's a bloodbath. It's a death sentence, but it was either way. Round 27. 30 kills for Levin. He has been fighting tooth and nail for this map and for this series. But the upper hand still to be gained here. We've spotted them cross up towards ramp at least. That's good space for Fnatic. But what are they going to do with it?
Boaster on a much more passive lurk after the last round. That mid pressure catching him off guard. Definitely a little bit more careful about it. The defense have also got 3 players towards the heavens, so clearly feeling like the likelihood of an A take is there, but as of right now, we can see that rotation. The TP there from Kayak. If he is going to take it. No, he's not. He's stuck around, and now the spike comes back towards him. He sold a ruse initially, and now they're selling a fake on the other side of the map, using the Prowler, using the Neon, but it hasn't made all of the move. Sugetsu's still here. Aves is still here. They sit in the corners, but immediately are cleared. Aves, the second player, but Kayak still gets both. But then there was another prong. The third to the fork that was this A-site defense. And although they'll be able to potentially get a plant, they're pressuring, they're pushing. The flank was what they're waiting for. Cloud needs to hold the line, and he has. It looked like there were problems with him being the only man there. Instead, he gets them to the point of victory once again. Another round to the collection that you have to give to Cloud.
No, that was a different level. On the third map in overtime, yeah, Kayak stepped up big time here as well. But Cloud got that plant in with a second to spare. Not just because of the time on the clock, but because of the forces gathering around him. They try to flood in, they try to deal with him, but too little, too late. And it's getting to Zaysh. They were in with a chance to close this series. And now, one round could send them out of this 2-1. Could put that first loss on the board for Zaysh's head coach for KC on this run. And it happening at the hands of their former head coach.
Yeah. I like they put the headset down to give us table slapping ASMR. Very appreciative of that. Didn't know what that would sound like, but now I do. Thanks to Zaysh. Yeah, thanks to Levin. Man, they would have been out of this map
long ago.
A long, long time ago if it wasn't for Levin. And he's just going to swing Althea. Yeah, Althea, you know. That guy with multiple trophies under his belt, it means nothing to Levin. A double opener. Looking for a response, but there is no response. Boaster, 1v4. And well, there's days where you might believe in that. I'm not sure this is one of them. He's had troubles individually. Sure, he gets a kill onto Narrate, but it's at the cost of almost all of his health, and Aves is just waiting on the other side. 14-14. A series that has delivered and continues to. But at this point, it only delivers because of the performance that Levin is having.
But yeah, Aves was one of the best players I've ever seen in the last map. We said he can't expect that same level, and he's having a good game. 23 and 22. Yet he is still 10 kills behind his boy Levin. The guy who's going in first a lot of the time. The one who should have the excuses that, well, on the attack side, he can't do much, obviously. That's not the case. On every side, he's doing much. And for Fnatic, no victory just yet. We're right back into overtime, neck and neck with the attack side from Fnatic. And last time we saw that double fake, the pressure towards A, but it didn't really drag the rotations. This time, I think they're going to go much more direct.
Dosia has a little bit of support. Oh, that's very awkward. The near sight doesn't work when your opponent is close, and Althea couldn't have been much closer. An opener that gives them a good position. Levin tried to be the hero. Instead, he's eliminated immediately. The man of the moment is gone. But Aves still alive and kicking Kayak, the bodyguard for the planter. Now Aves is all that's left, and while Alfia makes sure that this round doesn't go anywhere else other than into his pocket, he's now broken the 30 barrier with 31 kills. It really does just seem like two superstars from Turkey fighting to see who's going to win this map.
And now we come out of that round to a timeout from Fnatic.
It's over.
15 to 14.
Nice TP. That's some ballsy TP, bro. I love that.
All I'm going to say is...
This pause, and look, they've been losing when it comes to the last time they played the defense. Didn't go all too well. So whether Tom's timeout curses are real or not, you understand why Fnatic wanted to take a moment there. Posted up his Kayak, but well, that wall's going to cut off any info for him. They're going to have Cloud come in to fill up that control top in heaven, but they spotted him already. They know he's close. The spams are coming in, and his wall's soon to go down. KC have got a fair bit of footwork done already, a fair bit of ground covered. It looks like they're ready to execute into A, but for Sugetsu with an operator on the other side of the map. And I did just realize he had an operator. I didn't even look for it. And now Fnatic just realized as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, for what he's been doing for backstabs, maybe the worst weapon you could have, but I guess he was just looking for aggression elsewhere on the map. The fact is, though, they've used that as a call to head towards the B site. The funny thing is, Fnatic have heard that call. They have 3 players on this side of the map as well. Alfia being the main point of their grievances so far. But he has a teammate alongside him, and that teammate might not be checked. It's only going to be the 1-for-1. Alfia needed once again, and he delivers once again. But eventually he will fall just like the others. And now Cloud, all that remains of Fnatic's hopes of closing it just like last time, 16 and 14. Those hopes seem to have diminished. Aves even able to use the Nightfall, the trail of Cloud's deceit will follow him along. And well, as the beeps get faster, the likelihood of victory gets slimmer. They're giving him absolutely nothing. It won't be a 16-14 again. At minimum, we're going to get 17 rounds on one of those sides.
God, like you said, the fact that the first map goes to OT, the second is dominant for KC. This could have been a 2-0 series, but what fun we would have been robbed of if that was the case. Alfia, I started to believe those shots started to land, the slide out onto Sugetsu, but it was not enough this time. Alpha on 32, Levin still on 33, but now the op comes out on the defensive side. KC using it on the attack with Sugetsu, but Levin granted the honor of utilizing this, and he's pushed up in A main. He's going to keep going. This is being watched by Cloud, but a hard shot for Cloud to hit, but he gets there right off rip.
11 down. It's a big player to take. Boaster saw the operator of his opponent in the last and decided anything you can do, I can do better. Sugetsu surely falls, yet no escape. And now Narrate atop the wall wants to try and even, and instead he makes their deficit deeper. The hole has been dug further into the ground, and now Reliance on just 2. Cloud still holding that lurk on the other side of the map. Plenty of time for Fnatic to play with, and questions being asked by this defensive side. It seems like Dosia is going to make his way back, but Aves a push up here. I don't think there's any way he expects Cloud to still be it, but timing. Cloud's just about to move, but clearly his spidey senses were tingling as he will remove Aves from action.
Yeah, that was the chance. Dosia's been remarkable in some of the games earlier. Look back to Summit. This Harbor was sensational, but too tall of a task, surely. And indeed it will be. Fnatic 16 to 15. Now we're going more of a distance than before. But it seems like the story might end the same way as map number 1. Another chance to close this out for Fnatic.
It feels like a lot of their attack rounds are becoming more and more controlled as things go along, whereas the ones from KC feel more and more reliant on that individual brilliance, the likes of 11 or an Aves to bail them out.
Or to get to up.
You can see. No, the only operator is going to be on the hands of Kayak. The Yoru makes a little bit more sense, but they're definitely feeling the bite of that last round with how passive they're being here.
Yeah, you're only going to let yourself fall to the surprise op once, aren't you? Even though it's not in play, you've no way to know that until the shot is fired. So for Fnatic, caution is the name of the game. It's going to be a slow round from KC. 2 players towards the A site. Spike still bottom mid, crossing to B. Slow, labored perhaps, but for Fnatic so far, they have had boots on the ground in the right place at the right time. It seems like we're going to swap positions this time so that some util can come in from Crashies towards the A site, but they've realized it might not be needed with contact on B.
Sagetsu might need to be the hero for them this time. They're rotating towards his position. Walking into Alpha's domain. Who said it's been him versus Levin for who will top the tower. And as the time ticks by, he's going to be the one under pressure again, the one that looks to close. That time being bought, the more dangerous he becomes. But now he has friends. 19 seconds left for KC to try and make some sort of move, and it's already them the first to fall. It looks like everything will fall apart right at the end for KC. Even Levin can't save them now. A 17-15, 16-14